Pokémon. Starting with Greninja. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 275, Grell's Trump Card. Taking a deep breath, Grell had to accept the outcome of being defeated by a 16-year-old boy. Now he only had one Pokémon left, and Zumu still had 3 Pokémon that had not appeared. In this situation, no matter how I looked at it, Zumu had the upper hand, and he had almost no chance of winning. Since he had no chance of winning, he was not going to continue struggling. What was the point of struggling? Go. Slow Hippo. Slow Hippo was Grell's strongest trump card and his last Pokémon. This guy evolved from his initial Pokémon Shellder and the Slowpoke he captured later. For Grell, Slow Hippo had many special meanings, and this guy was also very hard-working, and could actually Mega-Evolve, and naturally became Grell's final trump card. Slow Hippo. Zumu was stunned when he saw Grell's last Pokémon, and then laughed with relief. Charizard, it's the last game. Are you still okay? Roar. Zumu, I can't do it anymore. You should replace me. If I continue to fight like this, I'm afraid my old injury will relapse and I will go to the hospital. Charizard said timidly that he was tired. Seeing this, Zumu probably had a plan in mind. Okay, I knew you would be fine. You are worthy of being you. Charizard, you are excellent. As he said that, Zumu had no intention of replacing Charizard at all. Charizard was stunned. Hey, Zumu, did you listen to me carefully? I said I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah, I know. Zumu saw Charizard looking back at him with doubts in his eyes, and continued to nod, indicating that he understood what Charizard meant. Don't you just want to fight to the end? I understand. You don't have to look at me like that. The opponent is going to Mega Evolve. Come on, let's get serious too. Zumu said with a free and easy smile. In Charizard's view, this smile is no different from that of the devil. Shaking his head helplessly, Charizard decided to accept his fate. Nonsense. Is it okay not to accept your fate? Who is Zumu? That's Revengeful. Charizard had offended Zumu before, so he became a stupid laborer and was forced to fight. Now, Zumu obviously didn't want him to leave, so how could Charizard dare to say anything? Silly Hippo. Mega Evolution. Grell gave an order, and the Silly Hippo evolved directly. Charizard saw that his opponent was serious, and he also looked at the evolved Silly Hippo. Spray flames. Heat up the opponent. Zumu gave the order, and Charizard took action immediately, dragging his tired body. Charizard was thinking that Zumu must arrange a full set of spa for him later. Launch the attack. Boom. To be honest, Charizard's flames, with the blessing of the Fire Dragon God's bloodline, the damage is definitely not bad. Even the evolved Silly Hippo will be almost as painful. Silly Hippo. Water Cannon, and then use Petrification. Petrification. Different from the elf world, the real Petrification attack is to block the opponent's just used skills. Although in the Pokémon world, Konna's Slow Hippo and Misty's Psyduck used the Petrification technique to repeatedly abuse the stupid Charizard. But now, Grell's Slow Hippo wants to copy this bug. It is absolutely impossible. Apart from other things, just from the setting, the Petrification technique does not have the effect of petrifying Pokémon, right? You are not allowed to use the Jet of Fire. Charizard, ignore his Water Cannon and rush directly over. Dragon Wave. Water skills, in front of Charizard, are the best healing medicine. When Grell used Blastoise to fight Charizard before, although he had discovered a clue, he really didn't expect that there was a Charizard with the water storage property in the world. Seeing Charizard enjoying the baptism of the Water Cannon, and counterattacked with a Dragon Wave, Grell suddenly realized it. Damn, you are trying to sneak attack. You can't play, you little trash. You don't have the strength. Slow Hippo. Use Shadow Ball. Well, the water skills are invalid, and Grell is really confused. But no matter how confused he was, he had to hold on. He couldn't just surrender, right? In desperation, he could only change his tactics temporarily, and the tactical arrangement was messed up. Zumu seized the opportunity and gave the order without saying anything. Charizard, hold on to Shadow Ball. Evil Flame Dragon. The 6 times of Dragon Dance increased Charizard's attack and speed. Even the Mega-Evolved Hippopotamus had reached the early stage of the Master. But compared with the enhanced Charizard, it was still a little young. Boom. Charizard didn't waste any time, and used the evil Flame Dragon to hit Hippopotamus with the damage of Shadow Ball. Before the smoke dissipated, Charizard showed no mercy and used the Dragon God Dive to hit Hippopotamus directly in the face. Boom. Another violent collision. Charizard, don't stop. Keep going. This guy is a bit strong. Hippopotamus is a meat shield. According to the team configuration, he, like Milotic, belongs to the position of tank in the team. Tank and special attacker. That is the traditional positioning of Slow Hippo and Milotic. The same is true for Grell's Slow Hippo. It looks ordinary, but it is actually very tanky. After taking 2 big moves from Charizard, it can still stand up tremblingly, which really surprised everyone. Self-regeneration, a must-have skill for special attack tanks. Self-regeneration. Generally, the characteristic of Slow Hippo is regeneration, which means that it can be put back into the Pokeball and replaced with a Pokémon, and Slow Hippo can recover 1/3 of its health. Coupled with the enhanced baton tactics, as well as self-regeneration and fierce toxin, Slow Hippo is definitely the nightmare of countless civilian players. It is also the favorite. Dream on, Charizard, finish off. As the champion of the Pokémon game, how could Zoomu give Grell this opportunity to disgust him in person? Self-regeneration, you dream. The same is true for Charizard. The Dragon God dived to finish off the opponent, but he was also very surprised. Good guy, watching Slow Hippo stand up and prepare to recover. Can Charizard bear it? He fired a Sun Flame in response, and taking advantage of the moment when the hippopotamus was dazed, he used a Dragon God dive and rushed directly down. Hippopotamus, protect. Grell was still struggling. Unfortunately, if struggling was useful, what would the police do? Protect successfully blocked the Sun Flame, but failed to block Charizard's finishing move, the Dragon God Dive. Boom. When the aftermath completely dissipated, the rescue team rushed on the field and began to rescue the hippopotamus. There was no hope in Grell's eyes. He lost this battle. He lost completely and firmly. Zoomu, he is really strong. The battle is over. All 6 of Grell's elves have lost their combat ability. Chapter 276. Something happened again. After the first elimination match, Zoomu could rest for 2 days as usual. Zuzenzen waited for Zoomu to finish the game and found Zoomu as soon as possible. At this time, Zoomu had just picked up Serena and was going to have a big meal outside with the little Lily to celebrate. As for Charizard, the old coolie took Bulbasaur and Snorlax to the hospital. Aren't you afraid of losing it? No. The road to the hospital is clear for Charizard. Zoomu, congratulations. You won easily. Zuzenzen didn't ask Zoomu about his strength. This is a kind of self-consciousness as an ant. Zoomu is so young and so talented, so naturally he has his own secrets. Just like Zuhong and Zukinking didn't ask Zoomu about the sensitive question of how he could fight the mythical beast alone. Zuzioxial didn't ask Zoomu about the instant recovery potion. Similarly, although Zuzenzen was curious about why Zoomu's strength had improved so much, she would not ask. This is the nephew's secret. If it is convenient, Zoomu will naturally tell it. If it is not convenient, asking will only embarrass Zoomu. Hee, my aunt is here to cheer me on as a guest, so how can I not win? Zoomu leaned on Zuzenzen's shoulder with a smile, hugged her aunt's slender waist, and looked like a big child. He seemed to be acting like a spoiled child, but in fact he was taking advantage of her. Let's go. My aunt will take you two to a big meal. By the way, her name is Serena, right? She's so cute. Zuzenzen said, walked to Serena, looked at the little girl happily, and took out a small box from her backpack. Here, this is a gift for meeting you. I think it will definitely not look as good on Serena as it does on an old woman like me. As she said that, she opened the small box, and inside was a pair of exquisite earrings. Serena likes this kind of beautiful little thing the most. Old book friends who watch anime know that Serena is the heroine with the most clothes and the most cross-dressing in so many generations. At the same time, it is also true in the game. It is almost known that Serena likes beautiful clothes. Zuzenzen's move just caters to her preferences, and Serena's eyes light up. But even though she liked it, The little girl still looked up sensibly and looked at Zumiu. She had no other intentions, just waiting for Zumiu to speak. "Take it. This is a gift from Auntie." Zumiu saw Serena asking him, and he quickly said, "Sure enough," Zumiu agreed, and Serena happily took the earrings. "Thank you, Auntie." Serena's sweet thanks and smile directly captured Zuzenzen, the little rich woman. There are almost no people who can resist Serena's charm, right? "You're welcome. Don't be polite with Auntie. Let's go. Auntie will take you to a big meal," Zuzenzen said, holding Serena's little hand. Looking at Zumiu with disdain, opened the car door and got in the car. Zumiu was stunned. This. Am I still your eldest nephew? With Serena. "I am the driver." "I am just a bite of food." Zumiu, who had fallen out of favor, was stunned. "Ha, woman." Sitting in the driver's seat helplessly, Zumiu asked, "Where are we going to eat?" Zuzenzen was now busy admiring the pretty girl Serena, thinking about buying her some pretty clothes later. She had no time to pay attention to Zumiu. Whatever. Zumiu was helpless. "Okay, whatever you say." "Huppa." "It's bad." Hupa, who was concentrating on playing with his phone, only had time to say this sentence before he felt dizzy. The same was true for Zumiu, Zuzenzen, Serena, Flame-Eared Fox, and Lorilas. A sudden feeling of dizziness attacked everyone in the elves. When the dizziness dissipated, Zumiu slowly opened his eyes. The scene in front of him was obviously not the mysterious island. Fuck, now that I don't take the initiative to go to the secret realm, the secret realm has learned to come by itself? That's right, Zumiu was caught up with the secret realm coming again. It was still the kind of sudden one. Even Hupa didn't have time to react. Dalmu, is this a new secret realm? Although Zuzenzen is the richest woman in the East and a female business elite, she is definitely not a vase. She has the strength of a master Pokémon and a trainer. At least she is a king. She just concentrates on studying business and has no time to care about so many right and wrongs. Well, it should be. Zumiu nodded and looked at Serena in the back row with concern. It is definitely not the first time for Zuzenzen to enter the secret realm. Mainly Serena. This girl has never experienced the transmission channel of the secret realm, and Zumiu is afraid that she will not be able to adapt to the dizziness. Fortunately, Serena is also very strong, without any accidents, blinking her curious big eyes and looking out the window. The environment here is a bit bad. Zumiu looked around speechlessly. Lava, ice and snow intersected, and lightning flashed in the sky. The lightning in the sky occasionally dropped a thunderbolt, splashing a pool of ice and snow, or magma in this barren environment. Yet a sharp bird cry came from the sky, and a black and purple flame bird circled in the air. Zumiu was stunned. Zuzenzen was stunned. Serena was also stunned. Malters, black and purple? Zumiu's first reaction was, is this guy the shining guy? But the next moment, the system's prompt made Zumiu realize that things didn't seem that simple. Ding! Congratulations to the host for triggering the special mission, the Battle of the Three Divine Birds in the Galar region. The three divine birds in the Galar region have mutated due to climate and environmental reasons. In addition to the original flying type, Malters has a new attribute of evil type. Articuno has changed from ice type to psychic type. Zapdos is a fighting type. 3 new forms of legendary elves, even after mutation, still can't forget the belligerent factors in their bones. Please ask the host to stop their battle and subdue them. Reward: a set of the original 3 divine birds produced by the system. Zumiu was shocked. What the hell? We agreed that we are just ordinary trainers? I just participated in a competition, and then went out for a meal. Then I was dropped into a secret realm, and 2 sets of 3 mythical birds were delivered to my arms? No way. This is too good. System brother, don't worry, I accept this task. Isn't it just the 3 mythical birds? So what if they mutated? It's not a big problem. Just do it. What I have to say is that this black and purple evil flame bird is so handsome. Zumiu said that he really loves it. The mutated 3 mythical birds in the Galar region are really handsome. You can search and have a look. Highly recommended. There will be more elves in the Galar region in the later stage, and Zumiu will officially start to enter the mythical beast collection mode. The protagonists of other families all go out with 6 flashes, or 6 mythical beasts. And our Zumu must have won too. Chapter 277, The Battle of Divine Beasts. Zumu looked at Moltres in the sky, as well as Articuno and Zapdos that appeared one after another. His thoughts could not help but go back to the days when Greninja beat up Articuno in the Snow Mountain Secret Realm. Flamel, Greninja, Dragonite, this battle depends on you. After selecting the 3 Pokémon with higher combat power in the team, Zumu was ready for battle. Charizard should be thankful because he managed to escape the disaster by going to the hospital. Chamo, this is our first cooperation, Zumu. Flamel's eyes exuded a strong fighting spirit and he spoke. Of course, let's fight side by side. Zumu responded with a smile. Greninja saw this and quickly jumped to Zumu's side. Cool, I am Greninja, okay, you don't have to say anything more. Zumu was speechless and looked directly at Dragonite. The meaning is very simple. Do you have anything to say? Yo, the slogan of us scholars is, try not to quarrel if you can fight. Zumu nodded, let the elves finish the slogan, and looked at the 3 birds in the air that had already started fighting without saying a word. After thinking for a while, he said, our strategic goal this time is very simple, Greninja and Dragonite. When the battle starts, you can directly transform into the Gigantamax of the heaven and earth. Then keep an eye on that Zapdos. This guy has a fighting system, and is the weakest one. Also keep an eye on Moltres. His dark system is restrained by Zapdos. No, Articuno's psychic system is also restrained by Moltres. These 3 guys are still the same as before, they are mutually reinforcing and restraining each other. No matter what, you just keep an eye on them. Whoever gets beaten first, we will go up and harvest them first. Zumu was talking, and he was confused. However, the general tactical idea was still expressed very clearly. Just keep an eye on the weakest one, or the 3 birds that were beaten up. Seize the opportunity and go up and harvest them directly. What is this called? This is called the fisherman benefits from the quarrel between the snipe and the clam. My family. Any questions? No questions. Blaziken, Greninja, and Dragonite nodded solemnly. To be honest, they were under a lot of pressure fighting the 3 mythical birds. These 3 guys were not the Articuno in the Snow Mountain Secret Realm. It was obvious to the naked eye that the strength of these 3 guys should be around the middle stage of the Supreme. They were definitely difficult to deal with. Not to mention that Blaziken could not cooperate with Zumu to use Mega Evolution now. Even if it could, it was only at the early stage of the Supreme. Compared with the 3 mythical birds, it was still far behind. Auntie, you take Hoopa and Serena to be careful in the back later. Zumu did not hand Ralts to Zuzinzin. This child still cannot do without Zumu now. It would be better for Zumu to take her with him instead of handing her to others rashly. Anyway, Ralts is cute, and Zumu will hold her for the rest of his life without saying anything. Big silly bird, scream again. Flamibird had the worst temper, and he hit Articuno and beat him up, cursing while hitting him. Although Articuno's attributes were restrained, its mouth could still move. Of course you have to fight back when you are scolded. Bullshit. You are the stupid bird. Your whole family is stupid birds. With a little mouthful of honey, Articuno did not say anything and started to scold. Seeing the quarrel between these 2 birds, the irritable Zapdos could not help it. Good guy, you 2 scolded each other without me? What? Who are you looking down on? Holding down Moltres, Zapdos went up and started a close combat. Moltres was beaten black and blue, and cursed. Asshole, if you have the ability, don't sneak attack, fight me head on. Articuno on the side saw Moltres being beaten, and unexpectedly did not take advantage of the chaos to fight back, but raised his hand and fired a supernatural power. It hit Zapdos directly. Spiky bird, why do you put your hands in my fight? You are showing off, right? Get out of here. The supernatural power was not enough, and Articuno became more and more angry, and simply fired an absolute zero at Zapdos. Zumu, who had been watching the battle in the air, discovered Articuno's move Absolute Zero. He immediately shouted, Greninja, use Roadblock, Flame, Rock Seal, Dragonite, Rock Slide. Stop this Zapdos. Zumu's sudden attack made Zapdos, who could have dodged Absolute Zero, wilted at the time. It was hit by absolute zero on the spot. Its health dropped to the bottom. After all, it is an outstanding effect. Even without the bug mechanism of instant kill, Zapdos is still in a bad situation. Who is it? Seeing Zapdos being attacked, Moltres made a sharp turn and looked directly at the ground. When he saw Zoomu and Zoomu's Pokémon, he immediately shouted, "Fuck, stop fighting, someone is coming in." After Moltres shouted, Articuno also reacted. He stared at Zoomu and Zoomu's 3 Pokémon in a daze. "Big black bird, beat that blue frog." "I'll beat that yellow fat guy." "Let the turkey be left. Let the hedgehog do it." Articuno made such a clacking arrangement, and Zoomu burst out laughing on the spot. "Good fellow, you are a professional in all aspects of nicknames." "My frog, I can call. Charizard can call. But you can't." "Greninja, beat that Moltres." "Shadow clone technique, super large spiral water shuriken." Greninja glanced at Zoomu speechlessly. Now this two-man trainer has stood up. I can't afford to offend him. After turning into dozens of clones, Greninja rushed directly. "I can't afford to offend Zoomu, but I can't beat you." "A black Moltres? Cool. Big black bird, you are really black!" Exclamation mark. Greninja taunted, then stretched out his hand and fired a super large spiral water shuriken, which went straight to Moltres' face. Moltres is definitely not a good-tempered guy. "I was scolded by Articuno, but I can fight back later." "Now this frog dares to scold me. How can I bear it?" Without saying anything, Moltres directly sprayed flames and swept. After offsetting the attacks of Greninja, it let out a long cry and used Brave Bird to rush directly at Greninja. "Greninja, use protection. You can't bear this move." Zoomu's judgment is very accurate. Although Greninja has reached the late stage of the master after the bond evolution, it is still a certain distance away from Moltres. It has not been strengthened yet. If it is a one-on-one head-on confrontation, it will definitely suffer. Greninja is very obedient and uses protection at the first time to resist Moltres' attack. Then it counterattacks with a shadow surprise attack. "Asshole, you hurt me." The counterattacked Moltres is not a good-tempered guy. With a roar, it directly backhands a set of combos at Greninja. Big explosion, hot wind, spraying flames, burning up. Chapter 278, Giant Dragonite, not afraid of difficulties. Greninja was hit by Moltres for real. There was almost no chance to breathe, and Greninja was about to kneel on the spot. "Cool, fuck, the firepower is so strong, little master, I can't stand it." Zoomu had no choice. Now it was not only Greninja who couldn't stand it, but also Dragonite and Flame Chicken who couldn't stand it. Dragonite was completely beaten against Articuno. After becoming bigger, Dragonite had almost no ability to dodge. When it met Articuno, it was a sitting duck. Although its strength has improved a lot, it didn't actually gain much advantage. Instead, it was beaten by Articuno and almost became autistic. "Dragonite, don't be angry. Calm down." What Zoomu was most worried about was not that Dragonite could not beat Articuno, but that Dragonite accidentally exposed its trump card in advance and used the combo of Rampage plus Reverse Scale when it was not strengthened. That would be bad. "Yo-ho, Zoomu, I can hold on. Frog and I will hold off first. You help Blaziken." Dragonite still has a good view of the overall situation, compared with Articuno and Moltres. Zapdos is the one that is most seriously injured. Now what he and Greninja have to do is to hold off, waiting for Zoomu and Moltres to deal with Zapdos, and then come to support. "Cool, asshole, you are the frog." After being beaten, Greninja still did not forget to turn around and roar. Zoomu's reaction was not slow either. Now, Greninja and Dragonite obviously can't break the situation, and can only adopt the tactic of hard-holding. Then start with Blaziken. "Blaziken, please, use Ascension Punch." Then Flame Kick. Swallow Return. There is no Mega Evolution, because the current tacit understanding is not enough. Blaziken can only rely on the strength of the peak leader to fight Zapdos. Fortunately, Zapdos is also seriously injured now, otherwise, Blaziken will definitely be unmatched. "Asshole, you're taking advantage of me when I'm injured. What kind of man are you?" In a hurry, Zapdos directly called out the name of Jaichu's song. "Unfortunately, Jaichu can't save you in this situation." Blazing Chicken, Smoke Charge. Avoid his close combat. and keep some distance. Seeing Zapdos in a state of burning, Zumu made a quick decision and decided to keep some distance first, let Zapdos get hurt for a while, so that his physical attack can be reduced. For this fighting attribute physical attacker, once Zapdos' physical attack is reduced, it is no different from losing its weapon. Asshole, if you have the guts, come and fight me head on. Feeling the severe pain of the burn, Zapdos was also unwilling to do it, and roared, preparing to use the divine bird to forcefully approach Blaziken. Call. Zumu's orders are always so unexpected. The call not only startled Zapdos, but also Blaziken. Get rid of it, brother, I'm a top-level elf. In terms of level, I'm already above level 70. You actually want me to use the call? Chamo. After using the weak call, Flame felt that he had lost all his face. He wanted to stick his head into the mud. It was so embarrassing. He was going to die. Woo wah woo. Zumu was helpless. The most suitable skill now was the call. Let the call cooperate with the burn to rapidly reduce the attack power of the Zapdos, and then Flame took the opportunity to use bodybuilding. What a good tactic. Zapdos admitted that he was indeed scared by the call of Flame that had no deterrent effect at all. The main thing was that he hadn't seen this skill for hundreds of years. Zapdos said that he also needed a certain amount of reaction time. I'm not a god, and I can't use the signature skill of the novice Pokémon of the rookie trainer without saying anything. Zapdos can't stand it. Feeling that his attack power was constantly decreasing, Zapdos was a little panicked. Hey, big black bird, and that ugly monster, can you two do it? I can't stand it anymore. Yelling at the friendly army next door, Zapdos said that he was almost at his limit, having been injured before, and now Zumu is shameless. He directly uses this kind of unscrupulous tactics. It would be strange if Zapdos could resist. Who are you calling ugly? Fuck hedgehog. I think you deserve a beating. Articuno did not respond to Zapdos' question immediately, but instead asked a set of rhetorical questions, which made Zapdos mentally collapse on the spot. Fuck. What time is it, and you are still arguing with me about this? I tell you, you hurry up. If you delay any longer, I will scold you in the underworld in the future. Zapdos has a bad temper, and it is the type that will scold others even if it is beaten. Although it is a bit difficult to protect itself, it thinks of the scolding by Articuno just now. Zapdos can't stand it. Dragonite, the strengthening is almost done. When being beaten by Articuno just now, Dragonite couldn't avoid the attack, so it simply didn't hide. Use Dragon Dance directly on the spot, and occasionally do self-recovery. There is no other meaning, just simply delaying time. Yo, almost done. 6 times have been completed. Dragonite gave the answer, and Zumu smiled. Good. 6 times completed. Let's start. Dragonite, show yourself, little baby. Rampage, charge. Dragonite, which was extremely huge and had the power of heaven and earth, suddenly appeared a layer of red halo around its body, and then it rushed directly towards Articuno like a mad dog. Without saying anything, it pressed and started to pluck its hair. Although Articuno was stronger, it was not as strong as Dragonite now in terms of strength and speed. This led to Dragonite plucking its hair, and Articuno could only stand it, and there was nothing it could do. You said to fight back? Nonsense. If it could fight back, would Articuno be willing to stay and be plucked? That's unrealistic. Fuck, you bastards, just wait for me. You dared to pluck my hair. I will see that we are irreconcilable. Articuno was so angry that even though he was pressed down by Dragonite, he did not forget to turn around and curse. Dragonite, on the other hand, looked indifferent. If you want to scold me, just do it. I won't lose a piece of meat or anything like that if you scold me. If you have the guts, then scold me. If you scold me, I will pluck out 10 of your hairs. Gradually, Articuno finally chose to shut up. There was no other way. His feathers were a bit sparse to begin with, and now that Dragonite had plucked out his feathers, a large patch of them was left bald. This frightened Articuno, and he almost broke free from Dragonite's restraints. Fortunately, Dragonite's tail was long and powerful. He grabbed Articuno, who was about to escape. Yo, what? You want to leave? Weren't you very arrogant just now? Look, I, a scholar, dragon, We'll teach you a lesson today. Dragonite rushed up again. We are professionals in plucking feathers. Chapter 279. Social Frog reappears. Cool, what's going on? Dragonite can even suppress Articuno and pluck his feathers? Fuck, how did I get left behind in this matter? It seems that I have to work harder. Dragonite, who was still struggling to hold on, suddenly turned the tables and subdued Articuno. This made Greninja stunned for a moment. Has this old guy been hiding his strength? This is the most real doubt in the frog's heart. What's the matter? We were just playing and making fun together just now, and now in the blink of an eye, you turned the tide and lived towards the sun? Are you coy, sister? Greninja, who was unhappy in his heart, also decided to show his true skills. Cool. With a loud shout, Greninja directly used the Surf plus Water style, waterfall technique. A small combo repelled the evil Moltres. Then came a shadow clone technique. There is no other purpose. The reason for the clone is very simple, just to prevent you from running around. With a wicked smile on his lips, Greninjas began to gather Spiral Water Shuriken in their hands at the same time. This time it was not the big ball version, which was too energy consuming. Greninjas chose the relatively small Spiral Water Shuriken, mainly to use this collective bombing method to temporarily delay Moltres and buy time for himself to strengthen. What? A jet of flame broke the Spiral Water Shuriken of Greninjas. Moltres was a little confused. The situation seemed to be different from what he thought. Before, he blocked all the big ball Spiral Water Shuriken of Greninjas with a jet of flame. But now, these frogs seem to have learned to be smart. They actually know not to attack together, but to use Spiral Water Shuriken one by one, throwing them one by one. This made Moltres uncomfortable. He had to use the jet of flame again and again to offset the attack. Taking this opportunity, Greninjas constantly used self-motivation to strengthen himself. Zoom saw Dragonite and Greninja preparing to turn the tide in his peripheral vision, and immediately scratched his head in embarrassment. Didn't we agree that Blaziken and I would help you after we defeated Zapdos? Why can't you wait any longer? Blaziken, hurry up. Those two guys can't wait any longer. Use the Flame Vortex to control Zapdos. Don't let him run away. Then use continuous flame kicks. Blaziken followed Zoom's instructions almost without any time difference and executed them synchronously. The power of Super Control allows Zoom to directly command Blaziken to fight through his mind, which can greatly avoid the awkwardness caused by lack of tacit understanding. Blaziken is also a strong man who has experienced many battles, and with Zoom's mental command, not only did its combat effectiveness not decrease, but because of Zoom's presence, it unknowingly exerted its full strength at its peak. This really surprised Blaziken. Sure enough, this junior of Zhao and Yang is indeed capable. Through this battle, Blaziken's belief in Zoom has increased again, and there is almost no barrier at all. Chamo. With a low shout, Blaziken took action. With a Flame Vortex, it blocked Zapdos's way, and kicked back. Flame kick, and flame kick again. Kick after kick, directly kicking Zapdos to autism. Cool, game is over. After a short period of strengthening, Greninja slowly raised his head, looked at Moltres in the air, and sneered. It's time to let you know what society is. There are many people who are arrogant in front of me, but you are the most arrogant one. Moltres didn't know the situation, and thought he had a huge advantage, and was still pretending to be better than Greninja. Stinky Frog, if you have the ability, don't do these tricks. Let's have a serious fight. Bang! As soon as the voice fell, Moltres was hit by a surf. Before he could react, he was hit by a shadow surprise attack from Greninja. Immediately afterwards, Greninja stepped on Moltres' face and went up to attack wildly. With a super large Jade Spiral Water Shuriken in each hand, he pressed Moltres and output at close range. The scene was extremely violent, and the Zapdos in the distance couldn't help but tremble. Articuno, who was being plucked by Dragonite, was even more terrified. At that moment, he suddenly felt that he was still very happy. At least, it was just Dragonite that was plucked, and it didn't hurt much. Look at Moltres again, being ridden on the face by a frog. TSK. This really hurts. Frog, you're dead. Moltres still refused to give in at this time. Maybe it was his natural pride, or maybe it was Moltres' temper. Anyway, He would rather die than give in. Greninja didn't care about being scolded at all, but laughed. That's great, I like people like you who have a bad temper and don't give in. Are you tough on your mouth? Come on, I'll give you a mouth treatment. No doubt, Greninja used the boiling water move and directly hit Moltres' mouth. Bird's beak, this should be the proper noun. The boiling water burned Moltres' beak, and Moltres wanted to scream in pain, but thinking that the boiling water would enter her mouth as soon as she opened her mouth, Moltres resisted the urge to scream. She took the boiling water without a word. Cool, oh my god, so brave. Greninja was also surprised. This Moltres is really good. He really didn't expect it to be so brave. Well, since you're so good, I can't help but cooperate with you. You are brave, right? Greninja suddenly jumped off Moltres, and its body drew a beautiful arc in the air. Swallow return, attacking Moltres back again. Greninja took the opportunity to grab Moltres' feathers. It didn't mean anything else, just changing the posture. Changed posture. Those who understand will understand. From riding on the face to riding on the back, Greninja fired a spiral water wave with each hand, hitting Moltres one after another. Fuck, so bloody? Articuno was very obedient now, letting Dragonite's tail press down on him, motionless. Plucking feathers? It's not a big deal, compared with what happened to Moltres. Is being plucked a big deal? No way, the big black bird is so miserable. Zapdos also sighed sincerely. He is in a bad situation now. He is trapped in a vortex of fire by Moltres and kicked violently. But in comparison, Zapdos feels more sorry for Moltres. He is too miserable. In comparison, what does being kicked violently by himself count for? If Zapdos is given a choice, being kicked violently or facing the frog, Zapdos will definitely show his butt without hesitation. Come on, kick me. As long as I can't let that frog be my opponent, I will do anything. As for Moltres himself, he now has completely lost any interest in caring about other things. The frog's atrocities are still continuing. Chapter 280. The boss of the three divine birds appears. Stop hitting me, I surrender. The first one who couldn't stand the abuse was the most seriously injured Zapdos. Although this guy has a bad temper, he is straightforward. He can beat you if he can, and he will give in if he is convinced. There is no need to be shy or pretentious. He will give in when he should. Zumu signaled Blaziken to stop, threw out a Pokeball, and captured Zapdos. After the Pokeball shook 3 times on the ground, it made a ding-dong sound. Success. This is the first mythical beast that Zumu has captured with his own strength. Arceus was hatched from an egg. Lugia was given by someone else. Hoopil was captured before it was put in a Pokeball, and was simply fooled. Celebi. It is said that netizens who are waiting for Celebi to hatch have lined up in a long queue of several hundred meters. After capturing Galar Zapdos, Zumu suddenly felt happy. This is true. When I was playing the game, capturing a mythical beast was a very meaningful and satisfying thing. Now Zumu has traveled through time, but this is the first time he has successfully captured a mythical beast. How to describe this feeling? It's probably the feeling of completing a mission. Oh my god, I'm convinced too. The hedgehog is soft, so I won't hold on any longer. Seeing that Zapdos was convinced and was subdued by Zumu, Articuno quickly said, I surrender. Dragonite is a scholar after all, and knows that abusing prisoners is not a good character. Without any nonsense, he immediately let go of Articuno, indicating that Zumu could subdue this guy. Okay, then I'll subdue you, Articuno. Zumu greeted him, and after getting a nod from Articuno, he threw the Pokeball. Ding dong, another crisp sound. Articuno was perfectly subdued. Seeing that both of his partners were subdued, Moltres couldn't hold on any longer. Fuck, where's the boss? Boss, if you don't come out, we'll be wiped out. Moltres roared wildly, just like a beaten Groudon calling for Rayquaza's support. Moltres is also looking for someone now. The boss he was talking about was Lugia, but this Lugia was not the one Zumu had. It was the legendary elf in the secret realm, Lugia. Fuck. Seeing the sky suddenly clear up, a large bird with white and blue stripes flew in from the sky. Zumu was stunned. Alright, is this the old one after the young one? Luofeng, look at this guy. Releasing his Lugia, Zumu said helplessly, can you handle this guy? Although Luofeng only has the strength of a master, his status in the Lugia clan is the most noble. The heir of the sea god, he must be a super second generation. I don't know, I haven't seen this guy either. How about I try? Luofeng was not sure if he would buy into his tricks. If this was a reckless Lugia who was not well informed, Luofeng would not even bother to pay attention to you, let alone the sea god, even the sea dog. If you touch my little brother, even the sea king can't do it. Sure enough, as soon as Luofeng finished speaking, the Lugia who came from afar opened his mouth and said, "This little bastard who hasn't even grown all his hair, is he worthy of being the sea god of our tribe? Are our ancestors blind?" Good fellow. Zumu is definitely not a good-tempered person. This Lugia opened his mouth to scold his own elves. He is simply tired of living. Have you opened your eyes? Can't you see whether my Luofeng's hair has grown all his hair? Luofeng not only has all his hair, but he can also change color. If you don't believe me, go back and ask him. Zumu opened his mouth and it was a classic. This standard national quintessence made Lugia confused on the spot. Who am I? Where am I? Was I scolded just now? It was also the first time that Luofeng saw Zumu so angry, and he didn't react on the spot. However, seeing the calm face of the Koga Greninja, Luofeng was relieved immediately. That's right, what kind of dog temper does your trainer have? Don't you know? If Zumu doesn't stand up when Luofeng, is bullied, he is not Zumu. You dared to scold me? Lugia looked at Zumu in shock, and he was anxious. Zumu was full of disdain. Bah, Lugia, what are you pretending to be? I have fought all kinds of beasts, so why would I be afraid of you? I didn't scold anyone just now. If you say I scolded you, then I can't refute it, Zumu said, secretly pinching the necklace given to him by the promised Tainen. According to the current strength of the beasts, the promised Tainen is definitely one of the beasts at the top of the food chain. Although he is not yet an adult, it shouldn't be a big problem to beat Lugia. It's not like he hasn't fought before. Speaking of this, Zumu also made a clear arrangement and comparison of the beasts in his mind. Generally speaking, up to now, the division of the 10 beasts should be like this. First, Arceus, nicknamed Alpaca, the god of creation yields, no need to say more. Second, the promised Tainen, the source of Dynamax, whose strength is second only to the god of creation. Third, Rayquaza, the appearance of Super Rayquaza, made this guy's strength soar sharply. Although the third place is controversial, to be honest, this guy is strong. Fourth, Budcrest, the king of the Galar region, can ride a white horse or a ghost horse. Whether Budcrest is strong or not, those who know it will know it, and those who don't know it can search it. It is the strongest beast in the latest version. Fifth, Necrozma, this is the incarnation of the sun and the moon. It's a bit unfair for him to be ranked 5th. Sixth, Zygarde, the legendary X. After the perfect form, there should be no controversy about his position. 7th, Kyurem, the first of the 3 dragons of Tao. 8th, Mewtwo. Humans used genetic technology to continuously reorganize Mew's genetic genes and gave birth to Mewtwo. Mewtwo, who has 2 Mega Evolution forms, X and Y, is well deserved to be in the top 10. 9th, Ho-Oh, the symbol of life, is definitely a well-deserved soy sauce party, although the number of times he appears is far less than his reputation. However, if we really compare strength and legend, Lugia, a popular beast, is obviously generally considered to be inferior to Ho-Oh. 10th, Hoopa, the little demon elf. He can summon a clone of a mythical beast from another dimension to fight with his original body. There is no objection to his ranking last. This ranking is not official, and it is not the only answer, but it is fair. As the champion of the game, Zumu naturally has some ability to control his strength. Infinite, come and help me. In his heart, he called out to Infinite, who was ranked in the top 3 of the mythical beasts. Zumu was also ready to teach the Lugia in front of him a lesson. What's wrong, Zumu? Infinite, who was far away on Orion, heard the call and answered instantly. It's nothing big, just teaching a Lugia who doesn't know any better. After Zumu finished speaking, Infinite was stunned. What? Still fighting Lugia? Can you change to another one? This is too unchallenging. Chapter 281. Capture Lugia while you're at it. Alas, I originally wanted to capture the 3 sacred birds, and then check out the buy one get one free offer. Zumu sighed, looked at Lugia in the air, and said helplessly, in the end, one of them came out to give himself a head. I clearly said, I don't want it, I don't want it. In the end, you are so ignorant. Seeing Zumu's Versailles, Luofeng probably guessed that the Wujitai would probably come soon, quietly stepped forward to help Greninja run away with Malters for a while. Luofeng said that he should seize the time to appear. Hurry up and steal the show, otherwise, several chapters will not be able to appear. If you don't believe it, look at Bulbasaur. After evolving, it disappeared for so long. So, you have to be a Pokémon with a sense of the camera, so as not to disappoint the book friends who like you. Luofeng is very sensible. The moment he flew to Greninja, he turned into a dark state. Change his own attributes to the evil type. In fact, it doesn't matter whether it is an attribute or not. The main thing is that Luofeng knows that the premise of appearing on the camera is to be handsome. Only when you are handsome can you be captured by the camera. Only when you have the opportunity, you can show off more. Cool, how about I leave? Seeing Luofeng grabbing his body, Greninja also burst out with the feeling of a big brother, and took the initiative to give way. Luofeng hurriedly shook his head. No, brother, I can't beat him. You help me hold it down. Luofeng, who is only at the master level, wants to deal with this half-crippled Malters head-on, which is indeed a bit difficult. Greninja heard it and it was right. Cool, okay, I'll hold it down for you. You be careful, don't hit me. He is worthy of being the big brother. Look at how reliable he is. Luofeng was so moved that tears were about to fall, and he threw his hand and blasted the air. Boom. Malters was held down by Greninja by the beak, and couldn't open his mouth. He couldn't even scream, and could only groan to show that he was in pain. Greninja didn't care about this, and saw that Luofeng was having fun, and hurriedly said, cool, keep going, quickly, brother is pressing it for you. Let this big black bird know what society is. Looking at the desperate Malters, Luofeng showed no mercy. Nonsense, there will be no show if you are lenient. The sense of the camera is very important, isn't it? Okay, thank you brother. With a happy promise, Luofeng continued to steal the show. The divine bird. Malters groaned again. Drivers, pay attention to the speed, don't drive after drinking. Zumu couldn't stand it from a distance. Similarly, as the boss of Malters, Lugia also watched. As the big brother, this Greninja went too far. Zumu, I'm here. Just as Lugia was about to support Malters, a little Lily's voice came from the air. It was the Infinitana. Perhaps realizing that he forgot to change his voice, Infinitana quickly changed to a thick and old voice. He said again, Mortal, why did you summon me here? Zumu slapped his forehead and resisted the urge to complain. Respected Lord Mugentana, I summoned you to help me tame this disobedient Lugia. Since you are willing to act, fine, I'll play with you. Zumu also gritted his teeth. We are all actors, so let's act together. Mugentana pouted secretly. Zumu must have heard his embarrassing appearance just now, and he deliberately made this appearance to cooperate with him. This will only make it more embarrassing. Damn Zumu, so bad. Zumu and Mugentana knew the little episode just now, but Lugia didn't know. You don't know until you see it. This guy is still a little confused now. Yes, he is really confused. Such a big guy came for a disagreement? What's going on? Trainers now don't use Pokeballs to summon Pokemon, just break the space barrier and rush over. Who are you? Mugentana? Gradually remembering Mugentana's identity, Lugia was so surprised that he almost dropped his jaw. What's your relationship with that old guy? You don't seem to be older than him. I see. You are his child, Lugia said, almost without any hesitation, and ran away. It was just like when Rayquaza saw Arceus. He ran away first and didn't ask too many questions. Unfortunately, Rayquaza was a smart elf back then. He ran away directly without asking or guessing. But Lugia was not like that. He was still concentrating on the origin of the ultimate. He even made a shocking deduction. It was the time of these two sentences that directly delayed his only chance to escape. The ultimate, blocked the way. Who is Zumu? He is a super rookie trainer who has commanded demigod level battles. Seeing that Lugia was not in a good state, He asked the ultimate to use the block without saying a word. Little guy, want to run? Exposing Lugia's little thoughts, Zumu sneered. Be good and stay here to be my mount. Let's be honest. Others don't feel anything about Zumu's words, and they can understand it. But Luo Feng, after hearing Zumu's words, he stopped bullying Malters and stared at Zumu not far away, stunned. Finally, the hard days are over. Luo Feng, the god of the sea, the Lugia who can transform. Starting today, I don't have to be used as a mount anymore. I almost cried with joy. If it weren't for Greninja's urging, Luo Feng would definitely take the unknown Lugia opposite to have a few drinks, then teach him the experience of being a mount. Also tell him about some of Zumu's special hobbies. For example, this guy likes to show off in the air. He never grabs bird feathers, but likes to put his hands in the air to prove his innocence. Thinking about it, Luo Feng didn't dare to think about it anymore. The days without being a mount are simply so happy, right? Eternal Tana, Dynamax. While Luo Feng was thinking, Eternal Tana and Zumu were ready for battle. After the transformation, Lugia looked at the huge Eternal Tana and almost lost the desire to escape. You can't eat me. I'm not tasty at my age. Hey, really, I'm hard to digest. As the saying goes, you won't cry until you see the coffin, and people must be cowardly when they are cowardly. Lugia has deeply implemented this spirit. Seeing that Eternal Tana was about to show his power, he suddenly fell to the ground. Plop. Kneeling heavily on his knees, Lugia knelt on the ground obediently. That trainer, why don't you capture me? Except for not being able to warm the bed, I can do anything you ask me to do, Lugia said, and obediently raised his wings to prove to Zumu that he would not look for opportunities to escape again. Oh, capture Lugia while you are at it? That seems not bad. Chapter 282 Zumu refuses to accept charity. I just have one question. Do you have a big appetite? Zumu was not overwhelmed by the idea of capturing Lugia. He asked this century-old question rationally and clearly. Lugia was stunned on the spot. I really want to be able to eat a little. Lugia raised his head awkwardly, with a shy face. Zumu burst into tears on the spot. You are shy? Then forget it. I have too much food here. Sighing helplessly, Zumu still thought it was unnecessary. Sometimes, fate is so simple. Whether it is suitable or not is not based on your appearance or your ability. It just looks at whether you can eat. Obviously, Lugia does not seem to meet Zumu's recruitment standards. Hearing that Zumu gave up on catching Lugia, Arceus in the Pokeball immediately breathed a sigh of relief. This alpaca was scared to death. It was almost there, just a little bit, and there was another one who took my job. This is unbearable. Then can I leave now? The trembling Lugia was no longer interested in Malters, who was being bullied and oppressed, and would rather die than surrender. He had no other ideas now. He only had one request. I'm leaving. Zumu waved his hand, signaling Wugitana to let him go. There was no point for this Lugia to stay, and he was jealous. What is this called? This is called chicken ribs. It's a pity to abandon it, but it's tasteless to eat it. Besides, he already has Luo Feng, and he has no shortage of mounts at this stage. It would be a waste of food to subdue this guy. This deal is a loss, and it can't be done. Let him go? Wugitana didn't quite understand Zumu's feelings. What could the little Loli think? She just didn't understand why Zumu did this. Well, let him go. Zumu shook his head and said again, I already have Luo Feng. I can't abandon him after having an affair with him. Hearing this, Luo Feng, who was bullying Malters with Greninja, was about to explode. What? Lugia is so strong and has such a long history. You just say you don't want him? Is that reasonable? Family, if you do this, won't I still be a miserable mount? White Dragon Horse also wants someone to take over. Cool, don't be distracted, hurry up and show yourself. Koga Ninja is worthy of being the big brother. Seeing that Luo Feng is a little distracted, he hurriedly reminded him. Koga Ninja didn't mean anything else. He just wanted to tell Luo Feng, don't worry about Zumu's affairs. When this guy gets ruthless, he can't tell friend from foe. The lesson of Charizard, young man, don't you understand? Sure enough, as soon as Koga Ninja said this, Luo Feng quickly gathered his mind. Big brother is right. It's not easy to appear on the stage once. Why don't I have fun? I'm ashamed of my fans if I don't make good use of such a good opportunity to steal the spotlight. Besides, Zumu's affairs really can't be taken care of casually. This guy holds grudges. Sometimes the Wolfang even suspects that Zumu is always in the dead of night. Will he secretly take out a small notebook and write down every person and elf who has offended him? Arceus ate too much today. I remember it. Charizard's medical expenses exceeded the budget. I understand. And Hoopa. The recharge maxed out my card again. I remember it all. Thinking of this, Wolfang shuddered. The whole bird was shaking. Zumu's terror can be seen. Zumu, are you okay here? Wugitana let Lugia go, and said a little depressed. She actually hoped that Zumu would get into trouble. In this way, Brother Zumu would look for her well. It should be handled. Thank you for your hard work. Zumu was like a scumbag who used Wugitana and turned his face. But fortunately, Zumu was just like that. Not really. Seeing that Wugitana still wanted to play with him for a while, Zumu said again, well, if you don't have any fun, why don't you stay and fight Moltres together? Not far away, Moltres, who was suffering from oppression, was shocked at that time. He struggled to open Greninja's hands, opened his mouth and yelled, fuck, I don't want to play anymore. I surrender, don't hit me. However, his words can only be selectively ignored. Don't ask. It's just because Zumu's plot needs it. Wujitai nodded happily. Okay, Zumu. After saying that, she didn't cancel the state of Wugigigantamax, and flew directly to Moltres. Moltres burst into tears. Damn it. Ahem. Well, since you surrender, why don't you give him a chance first? In the end, the person who couldn't stand it was Luofeng. After all, they were still his own children, although Moltres had changed in the Kalos region. But after all, they were still the three sacred birds, and their nature remained. As the god of the sea, Luofeng and the three sacred birds were his guards and subordinates. If he hit them too hard, what if they were disabled or something? It would be inconvenient to use them in the future. Seeing Luofeng begging for mercy, Wujitai was embarrassed to continue, looking at Zumu with grievance. The meaning is very simple. The baby is unhappy. Zumu opened his mouth, not knowing what to say. How about we destroy this secret realm and celebrate? At the critical moment, Luofeng was still reliable and proposed an idea that everyone was happy with. Blow up the secret realm. Sure enough, after Luofeng said this, he received unanimous praise from Moltres, Zumu, and Wugitana. This idea is great. Why didn't I think of it? Zumu slapped his forehead. It was indeed so. Blowing up the secret realm, while setting off fireworks, can also make Wugitana happy. Isn't this killing two birds with one stone? Okay, that's it. Seeing that Wugitana was also very happy, Zumu made the decision directly. Blowing up secret realms. The Lugia clan is professional. It just so happens that the environment of this secret realm is extremely harsh, with no grass growing, and there is really no need to stay. Wait, just before Zumu was about to let Luofeng start setting off fireworks, Moltres suddenly shouted. Zumu was stunned. What? You want to protect your homeland? Wait a minute. There are still 3 treasures in the secret realm that have not been taken out. I'll take you to get them. Zumu, who was still a little confused, suddenly became enlightened after hearing what Moltres said. Look, this is a wise Pokémon, so sensible. It looks promising. Okay, thank you for your hard work. Without saying anything, Zumu threw out a Pokeball. Capture Moltres on the spot. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the task of capturing the 3 sacred birds in the Galar region. Reward host. A set of the original 3 sacred birds produced by the system. Zumu smiled. This is so embarrassing. Can the Pokémon that were captured without fighting be used? Zumu, don't eat food given out of pity. This set of 3 sacred birds, ahem, I'll keep it for you. The ignorant system, for a while. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 283, Secret Realm Treasure. Luofeng's strength improved. This flame crystal is the core of our volcano and my long-term meal ticket. The first place they came to was naturally the place that Malters was most familiar with, the crater. Looking at the thick magma below, Zumu listened to Malters' introduction and used the power of Super Conquer and Wave Guide to observe carefully, and found that there was indeed a crystal of flame. He immediately smiled and said, "Then can you please help me get it?" Malters nodded hurriedly. "It's my honor, my trainer." After saying that, he dived directly into the magma and took out this piece of flame crystal. Then he put it in front of Zumu without hesitation to show his loyalty. Zumu nodded, and while looking at the flame crystal, he was also thinking about how to use it. Give it to Charizard and Blaziken? What about the ice type? And what about the electric type of Zapdos? How to divide it? Well, Zumu, I think I can use this thing. Luofeng grinned embarrassedly and whispered, "You can also use the fire type." Zumu was a little confused. This Luofeng is not picky. Seeing Zumu asking questions, Luofeng started to explain, "Although this is a flame crystal, it can be transformed into the energy I need after being neutralized with ice crystals and lightning crystals." Zumu probably understood. He is not good at chemistry, but he is good at metaphysics. The meaning of Luofeng's words is also very clear. That is, I can't use this thing directly. I need to gather three together like summoning a dragon before he can absorb it. Zipbird, Articuno, come out. After releasing the two guys he had just captured, Zumu pointed to the flame crystal on the ground. Then he pointed at Malters. The meaning is very simple. Look at how sensible they are. You are already mature Pokémon. You should know what I mean, right? As a trainer, are you not worthy of receiving a gift from your own Pokémon? Fuck, Big Black Bird. Are you crazy? This is our life and property. Zapbird was the first one who couldn't help it, and roared. He didn't expect that this Malters was so cowardly, and it was fine if he was captured. After all, he and Articuno were the same. But the problem is, this guy was so spineless that he invited the thief into the house. He took the initiative to hand over their three most important treasures and gave them to Zumu. This is totally incomprehensible, right? Articuno on the side actually meant the same thing. It is totally incomprehensible. How can this be understood? Big Black Bird, is your brain damaged? If you are threatened, just blink. Malters was also helpless. Big brother, do you think I want to be like that? I don't know that humans have a short lifespan. Can we come back in 100 years? Do you think I don't want to go home and continue to bicker and fight with you two, and live a carefree life? But the problem is, our new trainer wants to blow up the secret realm if he doesn't agree with you. Well, Lord Wujitai wants to watch the fireworks, so Zumu decided to blow up the secret realm. Malters gave this explanation that was difficult for him to say. Upon hearing this, Zapdos and Articuno were stunned on the spot. Everlasting, sir? What is everlasting? Come, who's sir? Let him come out, let me see. Zapdos clenched his fists and said excitedly. It seemed that he was ready to chop the hateful guy Everlasting into pieces at any time. Cut him into pieces. Are you talking about me? A voice suddenly came from behind the angry Zapdos. Zapdos turned around and said the words he had just finished. You are Everlasting? Fuck, I can't understand this. I really can't understand. Everlasting wants to see a firework. Why is there so much trouble? Come on, isn't it just a secret realm? Just blow it up. Save me from being upset when I see it in the future, and affecting our relationship with the trainer. Zapdos changed the subject and explained wittily. He was secretly horrified in his heart. Oh my god, this is Everlasting, isn't it too big? If this guy wants to eat me, I'm afraid he won't even need to chew it. He can just swallow it directly. Seeing that the iron-willed Zapdos was scared, Malters sneered. That's it? So, do you have any more questions? Looking at the silent Articuno, Malters, with the purpose of dying together, was determined to drag the two brothers into the water. I reluctantly gave up my flame crystal. What about you? Come on, family members, let's give gifts to the new trainer together. No more, I'll go now. Articuno took the initiative and flew away without saying a word, obviously going to get the ice crystal near the iceberg. Then, Zapdos was not an idiot, and his reaction speed was absolutely top-notch. Seeing Articuno flying away, He flapped his wings hard and glided reluctantly. He ran towards the Thunder Palace in the sky, wanting to take out the lightning crystal and give it to Zumyu. Seeing Articuno and Zapdos flying farther and farther, Zumyu thought to himself, "This Articuno is okay, at least its flying posture is pretty good, but this Zapdos, if you can't fly, don't fly." Isn't this an insult to the word fly? Aren't you afraid that Groudon will give you a warning with the cliff sword? Aren't you afraid that you will fall from the sky accidentally if you fly so crookedly? Zumyu curled his lips and said no more. Not long after, Articuno and Zapdos came back. Each of them was holding a huge crystal. Putting the three crystals together, Luofeng rushed up impatiently. There was no ceremony to summon the dragon. Luofeng hugged the three crystals and sucked them up. At the same time, Luofeng's strength began to grow wildly. What kind of crystal is this? It actually has such a huge energy? Seeing Luofeng's rapid increase in strength, Zumyu asked in confusion. "Zumyu, this is the companion crystal of the three of us. It was born with us and has absorbed energy in lava, ice, and thunderclouds for tens of thousands of years. We are the three who have the strength we have now and have not starved to death in this desolate place. It's all thanks to these three crystals." Articuno is still relatively reliable. Although it has no feathers, its answer is still sincere. "Zumyu, I'm in the early stage of the leader." There was a thunderclap in the clear sky. When Luofeng absorbed the power of the three crystals, he instantly shouted excitedly. Then Zumyu also laughed. "This guy, his strength is improving really fast." Okay, it's good to improve your strength. Next, I think you should do the thing of blowing up the secret realm, and vent your current vigorous energy. By the way, where is Hoopa? Remember to take your mobile phone to record. Don't forget. Chapter 284. That splendor. Bang! Following Zumyu's arrangement, Lugia began to burst out with all his strength. After absorbing 3 energy crystals, Lugia's strength has made a qualitative leap and has reached the early stage of the headmaster. With such strength, it is not enough to destroy the secret realm with one move. However, the most important energy source of this secret realm, that is, the 3 crystals, has been taken away and absorbed. The root of the secret realm was damaged and it was no longer stable. This led to the situation of being destroyed by Lugia in one blow. Boom boom boom. When the secret realm began to explode, Selena and Zuzenzen's eyes were full of longing and a little yearning. "It's so beautiful, this firework is so beautiful." The same is true for Wugitana and Hoopa's Ralts, who are already sitting on Zumyu's shoulders. They are all stunned. Flame Chicken, Greninja, Dragonite, and the three sacred birds of the Galar region stared at the destruction of the secret realm. Flames shot up to the sky. Lightning and flames intertwined. Countless ice layers exploded. It was gorgeous to the extreme. Go! Such beauty is only a moment of beauty after all. When the explosion began to approach Zumyu and others, Hoopa was the first to shout, and then used the wormhole of another dimension to transfer Zumyu and others and the elves back to the real world. When they just returned, Zuzenzen and Serena were still a little shocked, but Zumyu was in good condition, and even felt the egg of Celebi in his backpack began to shake. Is it going to hatch? Because of the impact caused by the fragmentation of space, Celebi was touched. Is the little guy finally going to be born? Taking the egg out of the backpack, Zumyu signaled Wujitai to keep his voice down. This little Lolita has never seen such beautiful fireworks since she grew up, and it is inevitable that she is a little excited for a while. What is this? In the distance, Zuzenzen saw Zumyu holding out an incubator and stepped forward in confusion. Zumyu explained, "This is a little guy who has been with me for a long time. Today, it seems that he can't help it and is ready to meet me." As soon as the voice fell, cracks began to appear on Celebi's egg, and the white light of hatching began to light up. Zuzenzen stepped aside sensibly, and looked at Zumyu with a relieved smile. "Rabbi." Soon, Zumyu opened the incubator and took a green little guy out of it. The little guy was very cute. His green little head was shaking in a daze, and his eyes seemed to be unable to open, narrowed into a slit. "Hello, Celebi." Zumyu held Celebi in his arms like his own child and said with a smile, "Rabbi Zumyu." "Hello." Celebi's voice was relatively childish, and even speaking was a little awkward for her. Obviously, She was also trying hard and getting used to communicating with Zumu in this way. In the egg, the little guy had been secretly observing Zumu for a long time. "Drink some milk first, we'll go home now." After all this trouble, Zumu really didn't want to go out for a big meal. He simply decided to go home and make some delicious food to celebrate the birth of Celebi. "Zumu, I'm leaving first." Seeing Zumu hugging Celebi with joy and almost forgetting himself, Wujitana spoke sourly. He said he was leaving. I won't keep you for dinner. Take that phone. You can watch the fireworks when you are free." I asked Hoopa to record the video. There is no network on Orion. Mobile phones are generally just decorations and are not as useful as bricks, but Zumu still decided to give it to Wujitana, so that the little girl can have something to do when she is bored. Besides, the beauty of fireworks is only a moment of splendor and fragrance. But this moment was saved by Hoopa's mobile phone. Zumu asked the little girl to take the phone away, and also gave this memory to Wujitana. Now, the little girl was happy. She took Zumu's phone and left happily. Back home, Zuzenzen is the richest person, and that is naturally not a boast. With a phone call, people sent all kinds of exquisite ingredients. She said that she would eat hot pot tonight. Lamb is taken from the goats in the largest ranch in Western Europe. It is soft, tender and fresh. It melts in your mouth and has an endless aftertaste. The smell of lamb is also reduced to a minimum, and through the ice hot pot method, with Zumu's special pot bottom, the tenderness of lamb can be perfectly stored and the nutrients in lamb can be retained. Beef comes from Mumu Ranch, the first ranch in the east, and uses slices of meat taken from the strongest bulls. The beef is rich in protein, with a strong taste and full of chewy texture. The slices of meat are produced and cut by a peerless knife master. The thickness is comparable to leaves. Use chopsticks to gently clamp them, put them in a boiling water pot, and rinse them gently, and they can be used. In addition to meat, there are various plants from the secret realm. All of these plants are delicious and contain a lot of nutrients. As the richest woman, her style is naturally different. In eating this, she will never lose herself or her nephew Zumu. Looking at the luxurious and extravagant food piled up in the house, Zumu swallowed his saliva. After feeding Celebi and the little guy fell asleep, Zumu rolled up his sleeves and smiled. "Arceus, you can eat enough today. Auntie bought several carts of food for you." Zuzenzen knew that Arceus was a big eater who could never get enough, so when ordering food, she bought more for Arceus. Anyway, Auntie has money and can do anything. Just at this time, Charizard also came back with Bulbasaur and Snorlax. "Roar, what's going on? Why is there a green little guy in this house? And 6 big stupid birds? Oh my god, what's the situation with the food in this room? Could it be that Zumu has a guilty conscience and decided to reward me, the great hero?" Well, thinking that it was a celebratory wine arranged for himself, Charizard walked in without saying a word and sat on the ground. The meaning is very simple. The uncle is ready to eat. Zumu and Greninja looked at each other and smiled. "Cool, little master, I understand." Without saying anything, this guy is indeed a little uneducated. Zumu nodded. The frog still understood him. Charizard had just come back from the hospital. I don't know how much money he had wasted. Now he dares to act like a big shot when he gets home? Is this okay? This is absolutely not okay. Okay, then you go. Zumu nodded and continued to prepare the ingredients and mix the pot ingredients. Greninja called the 6 legendary birds that had just joined the team, 3 from the Galar region and 3 original ones. "Cool, old Charizard, I haven't seen you for an afternoon. Have you recovered from your injuries in the hospital? Come on, let's do some pre-meal training. It's a good opportunity for you to meet new friends." Chapter 285 Celebi and the 6 Divine Birds. Charizard was extremely upset during this meal. Don't ask, it's just sad. He was defeated and beaten up by the 6 new sacred birds that Zumu had subdued. The 3 sacred birds were a little better, but the main thing was the 3 guys in the Galar region. They were really cruel. Revenge does not need to wait overnight. All the debts owed to Dragonite and Greninja should be returned to Charizard. Just do it. After the bruised and swollen Charizard was beaten up by the 6 sacred birds, he was dumbfounded. He sat at the table blankly, not knowing whether he had no appetite or was not hungry. but he didn't eat much. Celebi was born not long ago, and Zumu took the opportunity to take a look at the system's attribute panel while eating. Elf, Celebi, attributes, psychic, grass, strength, early heavenly king, features, natural recovery. After replacing the elf with this feature, the abnormal state will be automatically lifted. Skills, Song of Destruction, Leaf Storm, Life Drop, Healing Wish, Parasitic Seed, Healing Bell, Primal Power, Signed-in Task. Celebi is in a special state. The signed-in task is temporarily unavailable. Zumu said that it was acceptable for Celebi's signed-in task to be temporarily unavailable. At present, he really didn't have the heart to complete too many signed-in tasks. After all, this was still during the competition, and it was not suitable to go too far. And Zumu had a hunch that once Celebi's task was opened, it would most likely be related to the task of collecting the protagonist. It might even leave this post-elf civilization world and go to other planes. So in the short term, it was a good thing that Celebi's task was temporarily unavailable. After taking a look at the sleeping little guy, Zumu continued to let the system update the attribute panel of the 6 divine birds. Elf, Malters, attributes, fire, flying, strength, mid-level supreme, features, sense of oppression, skills, overheat, big word explosion, jet flame, sunlight flame, divine bird slam, hot wind, storm, wing attack, primal power, signed-in task, carry or use Malters to participate in a battle in the World King Tournament, flame purification once. The first is Malters, which is the one rewarded by the system. Zumu doesn't know much about its personality, but there is still a long time to get familiar with it. Zumu is not in a hurry for this moment. I wanted to keep a low profile, but the world doesn't allow it. Looking at the sign-in task of Malters, Zumu also guessed it. I'm afraid that the tasks of the next 5 divine birds are to show up in the World King Tournament? In that case, wouldn't I be on the headlines again? It's really exciting. Good system, helping me think about how to pretend all day long. Ding. Now the system is not a dog system? Zumu didn't expect that the system would be so naughty. I was so embarrassed that I kept scratching my head. Haha, you are the best system. Who said you are a dog system? Oh, then this system is not a useless system? Zumu was speechless again, and he couldn't say a word because he was choked. Good guy. You are worthy of being a dog system. You have learned a lot from me when it comes to arguing with people. Since he couldn't win the argument with the system, Zumu knew he was in the wrong and simply shut up. Looking at the attribute panel of Gawler Malters, Spirit, Gawler Malters, attributes, evil, flying, strength, mid-supreme, features, raging. When HP drops below 1?2 due to being attacked, special attack will increase by 1 level. This feature can be triggered repeatedly. Skills, raging, farewell gift, trick, air slash, surprise attack, divine bird smash, storm, wing attack, primal power, signed-in task, carry or use Gawler Malters to participate in a battle in the World King Tournament. The evil ability will be improved once. Wow! Zumu saw this and immediately exclaimed, wow! When Gawler Malters first appeared, Zumu had already traveled through time, so he was not familiar with these 3 guys. But now, seeing that Gawler Malters actually has its own special characteristics and new exclusive skills, Zumu exclaimed, wow! These 3 new divine birds in the Gawler region, can they be Nintendo's own sons? With such partiality, the 3 holy dogs will cry in the toilet, right? Burning with anger, furious, this guy arranged it. It smells so good. Zumu secretly smacked his lips, feeling unfair for the original 3 divine birds. Looking at Zapdos, Pokémon, Zapdos, attributes, electricity, flying, strength, mid-supreme, characteristics, sense of oppression, skills, magnetic field control, thunder, electromagnetic cannon, discharge, 100,000 volts, divine bird smash, hot wind, storm, wing attack, primal power, signed-in task, carry or use Zapdos to participate in a battle in the World King Tournament, lightning purification once. Seeing this, Zumu smiled. Sure enough, compared to the new legendary bird in the Gawler region, The original legendary bird has no highlights at all. The waste-like oppressive characteristics made Zoomu have no desire to find out, but after all, it is his own Pokémon. As a qualified trainer, Zoomu can't do anything biased. Could it be that in the next elimination match, I will go against the sky? Seeing that the task of the legendary birds is to participate in the World King tournament, Zoomu felt relieved. Similarly, according to the experience of the previous King Challenge, the rewards for this task will probably be distributed uniformly after the game is completely over, that is, after Zoomu wins the championship. Most of Zoom's Pokémon currently have the task of appearing in the World King tournament. Now it seems that this competition is not only a practical training for the team, it is also a huge opportunity for Zoomu to improve his strength. Maybe after this, Zoomu will directly reach the level of an invincible trainer. Then as an invincible person, he will go to school with a group of newcomers. Damn, it's exciting to think about it. Recalling the few weeks of pretending to be a pig in number 1 middle school, Zoomu still misses the feeling of pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger. Without further ado, let's look at the Galar Zapdos attribute panel. Elf, Galar Zapdos, attributes, fighting, flying, strength, mid-level supreme, characteristics, unyielding. When attributes are lowered, they are improved instead. Skills, Thunder Kick, Bodybuilding, Close Combat, Resurrection, Divine Bird Slam, Storm, Wing Attack, Primal Power, Signed-in Task, carry or use Galar Zapdos to participate in a battle in the World King tournament. Muscle ability is improved once. After reading it, Zoomu smiled. So, the elves in the Galar region are the favorite sons of the game company, right? The unyielding characteristic, plus the new skill of Thunder Kick, it's completely shameless, directly giving the official a backdoor enhancement. If Galar Zapdos hadn't been blackened into a walking chicken, I'm afraid it would have really been a big hit. Chapter 286, Purification from Celebi. After seeing Moltres and Zapdos, Zoomu set his sights on Articuno. As an early target of plucking, Articuno will always leave an indelible stereotype in Zoomu's mind. That is, this guy is very miserable. Elf, Articuno, attributes, ice, flying, strength, mid-level supreme, features, sense of oppression, skills, mind's eye, divine power, freezing ray, blizzard, absolute zero, freeze drying, tailwind, divine bird slam, storm, wing attack, primal power, signed-in task, carry or use Articuno to participate in a battle in the World King tournament. Purify ice once. There were not many surprises when Zoomu saw the attribute panel of Articuno. He even got used to it. Perhaps this is the reason why the divine beast has too many troubles. Zoomu thought so. Elf, Galar Articuno, attributes, psychic, flying, strength, mid-level supreme, features, competitive, skills, cold vision, psychic blade, mind's eye, divine power, predict the future, trick space, dream eater, tailwind, divine bird smash, storm, wing attack, primal power, signed-in task, carry or use Galar Articuno to participate in a battle in the World King tournament. Psychic power increased once. Sure enough, after watching Galar Articuno, Zoomu was relieved. My son is still awesome. This Galar Articuno came up with this cold vision when he didn't agree with him. Damn, is it too cool? I've decided. The plan has changed. After reading the attribute panels of the 6 divine birds, Zoomu said softly, I don't mean anything else, just that Charizard can take a break. It's really a bit too much to always let this guy fight 3 or 4. So, let's take a break first. I, Zoomu, am going to act like a big shot. Everyone, please step back a little. Don't hurt me by mistake. Rabbi Celebi, who had just woken up, looked around. When he saw Zoomu not far away, he flew into Zoomu's arms as soon as possible. What bad thoughts could the little guy have? He just wanted Zoomu. Are you awake? Zoomu smiled gently while holding the little Celebi in his arms. His gentle look was seen by Lauilas, who lowered his head inexplicably sad. Sure enough, Men are animals who like new things and dislike old things. Rabbi, is Zumu eating? Celebi raised his head and looked at Zumu with his cute big eyes. Zumu was immediately overwhelmed by the cuteness and showed a standard uncle smile. Zumu nodded. Well, is Celebi hungry too? Hearing this, Celebi hurriedly shook his head to deny it. I just drank grandma. Celebi is not hungry. Wow, grandma. Sound. Zumu's old father exploded on the spot. This child is so cute. Lalu, no one can resist Celebi's charm, not even Lalula's. Seeing the cute little guy, Lalula's couldn't help it after all, and took the initiative to step forward and gently touch Celebi with his little hand. Lalula's body seems to have some problems. As a professional doctor, Celebi saw at a glance that Lalula's was extremely unbalanced. He took Lalula's hand and squinted and began to feel the pulse. Zumu looked at Celebi with some doubts, and thought blankly, the system doesn't seem to reward you for being proficient in Chinese medicine, right? You took the pulse when you didn't agree with it. What's the operation? After testing Lalula's pulse in a proper manner, Celebi said that the little girl could still be saved. Lalu, watch me. He couldn't help but take action when he saw the patient, just like Arceus couldn't help but fuck when he saw the rice. Although Celebi was born not long ago, he also has the nature of the Celebi clan, that is to treat when he doesn't agree with it. The emerald green hand was placed on Lalula's head. Celebi squinted his eyes, and a strong breath of life appeared. Zuzanzan and Serena, who were eating, were stunned. What's going on? Celebi is helping Lalula's with his treatment. If you want to talk about understanding, it's a Luofeng. Seeing that the two women didn't understand the situation, Luofeng took the initiative to explain, and at the same time signaled them not to disturb Celebi. Feeling the strong breath of life, Arceus, who was busy eating, rushed over at a lightning speed. This smell is more fragrant than rice. Where does it come from? The alpaca, who didn't know anything, almost hit Celebi at a lightning speed. At the critical moment, it was still Greninja who understood things and appeared by Celebi's side at the first time. A big hand was on Arceus' face. Cool, go eat, don't bother Celebi. Arceus was pressed on the face by Greninja's claws, and struggled symbolically. Through a little gap between the frog's fingers, he saw Celebi using his life energy to help Lalula's heal. He exclaimed immediately, I can do this too. It doesn't matter if he doesn't speak. Zumu hadn't thought of these things. Arceus is the god of creation, and he has the abilities of all the elves. Therefore, Arceus can also copy Celebi's life energy to a certain extent. Yes, why didn't you say it? Zumu stood up, walked to Arceus' side, and showed a warm smile. After slapping off the claws of Koga Ninja, Zumu pressed Arceus' head with his big hands. Okay, you don't do your work all day, but you are active and eating. I think you owe it to society to hone it. Arceus finished speaking and regretted it. It's just cheap. He didn't expect that he would have this life energy at the beginning, but he saw Celebi using it like this. Arceus realized that this energy can also be used to save people. Don't you think this is embarrassing? Brother, I really don't know there is such a thing. No, Zumu, I really don't know that I can save Lalula's. Look, Lalula's is so cute. If I knew I could heal her body, would I not do it? After saying this, Arceus's forced explanation came to an end. Zumu didn't care about his excuses, nodded calmly, and the smile on his lips continued to rise. It's okay, I believe you don't know. Let's put it this way. I don't see that your strength has not improved significantly recently. You only know how to eat every day. It's time to go out and exercise. Go find Charizard and let him take you to play for 2 days. After saying that, Zumu threw Arceus to the bruised Charizard. The meaning is very clear. Leave it to you. Take care of it. Roar. Don't worry. I will definitely let Arceus receive the most rigorous training. Charizard said, got it. Focusing his eyes on Lalula's again, the little girl's red hair has begun to ooze sweat. It can be seen that Celebi is trying her best to treat Lalula's. I hope everything will be fine, and I hope the kind girl will not be hurt again. Chapter 287, Everyone, step back. I want to show off. Lalu. When Celebi finished the treatment panting, Lalula's finally regained a trace of joy, raised his little hand and hugged Celebi, thanking her for helping him. Ding. Congratulations to the host. Layla's state has returned to balance. Now open the attribute panel of Layla's for the host. Sprite, Layla's, attributes, psychic, evil, strength, novice sprite, features, synchronization, skills, telekinesis, pursuit, predict the future, healing wish, sign in task, carry or use Layla's to complete a battle in the Magic City Academy. Gardevoir Mega Evolution Stone. Zuumyu looked at the rejuvenated Layla's, and inexplicably felt a little sour in his nose. When he first saw the little girl in the hospital, she was only half dead. With the help of Zuumyu's recovery potion, Layla's was saved. Later in the mysterious realm of the sea god, Zuumyu met the crazy scientist. It was he who combined the power of God Y with the superpowers of Ralts and turned Ralts into that. Zuumyu was really angry that time, so much so that later, Greninja executed that guy by slow slicing. That kind of person deserves death. As the grandson of the chief and the son-in-law of another chief, Zuumyu believes that since he is qualified to sentence San Shengyi to death, he is also qualified to judge this crazy scientist. That kind of thing does not deserve to live. Although Ralts has always been relatively autistic, she is different from Hoopa, who is purely socially anxious. Hoopa does not like crowded places and does not like to face too many people he does not know. That's why he has been invisible and stayed with Zuumyu. But the situation of Ralts is a congenital autism caused by simple environmental factors. This can be recovered, but it requires the careful care of the trainer and the elves. Since joining the team for so long, Ralts has been the cutest little sister. Whether it is Greninja or Charizard, they have always cared for her in their own way, not only in terms of food and drink, but also in various times. Everyone is using their own way to protect this pitiful little girl. Even Alpaca, a foodie, knew to give a portion to Layla's first when he got the snacks. Alpacas can eat, but they will never guard their food. Layla's, congratulations. Feeling that Layla's had completely integrated the evil energy and superpowers in his body, Lugia was the first to send his blessings. As the only one of the race who can transform into Dark Lugia at any time, he actually understands some of Layla's feelings. Similarly, in the use of abilities, Lugia can also give Layla's a lot of guidance and help. Well, thank you, brother Lugia. After regaining his superpowers, Layla's also learned telepathy without a teacher. The weak voice appeared in the minds of Zuumyu and other elves, and everyone smiled knowingly. This little girl seems to have finally come out. After dinner, Zuumyu sent Zuzenzen away, and told Serena not to play with her phone until midnight. Then he went back to his room to rest. For the next 2 days, Zuumyu stayed in his player residence, watching Charizard train Arceus. This guy knows too much. If you don't push him hard, he doesn't know how awesome he is. He's an alpaca after all. How can he be so lazy all day? After Arceus experienced 2 days of terrible special training, the second elimination match of the World King Tournament finally started. As the host finished his introduction, Zuumyu walked briskly to the battlefield. Miss Zhu, Zuumyu's condition seems to be a little different this time. Duan Muayu looked at the smile on Zuumyu's face and asked with some confusion. Zhu Zenzin heard Duan Muayu's question and answered proudly, "Of course, you watch, there will be a surprise next." Zhu Zenzin retained a hint of mystery. Looking at Zuumyu, there was a Western European player who was as black as a coal ball opposite him. Zhu Zenzin remembered that the host seemed to have introduced his name. It was just a little long and she forgot it. Oh, surprise? Duan Muayu was a little confused. Everyone knew the information about Zuumyu. It is estimated that the opponent's player must have done his homework to have the confidence to confront Zuumyu head-on. Besides, even if he didn't do his homework, this player is not a soft persimmon. This Amuzntrutrously Gadibei Luka Kaya is a seeded player in Western Europe. Facing this player, I think Zuumyu will have a hard time this time. Duan Muyu analyzed professionally. He had free time these days, so he specially rewatched all the videos of Zuumyu's games in the King Challenge, and made some marks for Zuumyu's elves. The simplest is the strength mark and the signature skill mark. Since he, the guest, can do so much, the opponent's player is not alone, he also has a team. Maybe he also knows Zuumyu's full strength. Shaking his head, Duan Muyu thought that Zuumyu was lucky to win the last game. This time he met a seeded player, Zumu was afraid that he was in danger. Zumu should come back next year. With his potential and ability, he should be more stable next year. Duanmuyu wanted to say more, but was stopped by Zumu. My nephew is the best. Zenzen. If you want to watch the game, be quiet, I said. There are surprises. My nephew can't lose. Just watch. Shut up. The chatterbox. Duanmuyu finally made Zenzen lose patience. Okay. Seeing Zenzen's impatience, Duanmuyu turned around and lowered his head, saying that he would not talk nonsense again, so that Zenzen could rest assured. Then, he covered his mouth and looked at the battlefield, waiting for Zumu's surprise. Go, Lizard King. After releasing the Lizard King, Muzan looked at Zumu confidently. His eyes were full of disdain. Zumu's lineup and tactics are indeed very strong, and can also catch opponents by surprise, but after his analysis, it is basically certain that he can completely suppress Zumu, win the second round of the knockout match. However, he must have thought too much. Lizard King, huh? Zumu smiled strangely and waved his hand, signaling the audience not to shout, which was a shot of prevention in advance. Then, Zumu took out an ordinary Pokeball. If you want to fight the Lizard King, it's more reasonable to use Articuno. As he said that, Zumu released Articuno with a Versailles look. In just a moment, the audience was boiling. This is a living divine bird. It's too promising. Chapter 288 Fame. I've long been accustomed to it. When Articuno appeared, the whole audience was shocked, except for Zenzen, who was calm in the guest seats. No one could keep their composure. Damn, I just couldn't bear it. I was watching a game, but in the end, a mythical beast appeared. When Articuno's graceful figure appeared in the air, the atmosphere on the scene had reached its peak. Oh my god, it's the legendary Articuno. In addition to Lugia, Zumu also has such a legendary Pokémon. There was a rumor at the beginning, that is, Lugia is the god of the sea and the main god of the three mythical birds. Since Zumu can subdue Lugia, then the three mythical birds can probably be possessed. Sure enough, the rumor came true. We witnessed this miracle together again today, witnessing the first time that Articuno appeared in public to compete. As a trainer Pokémon, I know someone will ask about Zukinking's one, the one that has never participated in public. It's that simple. The host was majestic and passionate, and he was completely in a state of madness. In fact, was he really excited? The main thing is that Mijayu can tell whose meal he is eating. Zumu's Aunt Zenzen is the title sponsor and investor of the entire competition. Naturally, she has to work hard to please the sponsor. What do the audience know? Just set the pace. With Mijayu's tireless and unscrupulous exaggeration and hype, Zumu and Articuno appeared on the cover of major websites around the world in just a few minutes. All media in the East and Western Europe reported Zumu's related news at the first time. Even Zumu's gossip and negative news, those despicable means used to attract attention, were also brought to the table, used to attract people's attention and exchange for traffic. At this moment, all editors and media in the world are working overtime. Those on vacation canceled their vacations, and those who are working doubled their efforts. Everyone is racing against time, for fear of missing this hot spot. And the news about Zumu and Articuno also attracted the attention of the public. Whether it is office workers taking the subway, bosses busy in the company, or housewives and students, everyone will click in as soon as they see the news, and comment on it with relish, no matter if what they say is right or wrong. Anyway, this is the age of the internet for all, and everyone is qualified to express their own opinions. Whether it is a troll or an elementary school student, they can express what they want to say without any consequences, such as a one-star book review, without any responsibility. Cough cough cough. Well, I want to ask, you want to use Articuno to fight my Lizard King? Muzan looked at Zumu blankly and asked this century-old question. It seems that in his memory, there has never been a situation where the Lizard King has challenged the mythical beast alone, right? Zumu nodded calmly. Young man, you may not know the potential of this Lizard King. Even the dark cry of his cheap father Zufeng can burst out and kill. What can't the Lizard King do? Moreover, as a person who has experienced it, Uncle advises you, take back your childish question just now. Although you are not a fool, you have to believe in your Lizard King. Maybe there will be a miracle. Chamo. The Lizard King also held a branch in his mouth and looked back at his trainer. He expressed his dissatisfaction. Isn't it just a big blue bird? Isn't it just a little bit powerful? Small problem, my Lizard King. He may not know that when he imagined how he could turn the tables and kill the legendary beast. Zumu still has 5 such legendary beasts. Yes, it is the kind you said, a big bird with color that is a little bit powerful. There are still 5. Are you surprised? Ahem. Cough, cough. Stop talking nonsense. Let the game begin. Glancing at the Articuno in the air, enjoying the cheers, praise, and flashlights of the people, Zumu probably guessed the personality state of the original 3 legendary birds on his side. First of all, let's talk about the 3 guys on the Galar side. The characteristics of these 3 guys. I believe that after Zumu's battle to conquer them, it is not difficult to see that their personalities are mainly mean. The kind of mean to the bones. On the surface, they are strong, but in fact, they are just a bowl of rice. The 3 original mythical birds, although they were rewards from the system, are also living elves with their own personalities. Among them, Articuno and Malters have the most obvious personalities, that is, they are good-looking. It can be seen that they are all birds from old Beijing, and they are good-looking. They have to be ostentatious when they go out, and they have to be high-end. They have to be arrogant when they disagree. And Zapdos is considered a traitor of the original 3 mythical birds, just like the 3 guys in Galar. Iron-willed. Articuno, stop talking nonsense. Heart, and Absolute Zero. Seeing this silly bird still showing off here, Zumu couldn't help it and urged him again. Hearing Zumu's words with a hint of dissatisfaction, Articuno also realized that he seemed to have stolen the limelight from the trainer. Damn, this is a big sin. Brother Frog has taught us these 2 days that the trainer is a petty-minded, cough cough, and a broad-minded trainer. You must not provoke him, especially pretending to be cool in front of him, or stealing the limelight. It's over. I seem to have both of these points. Is there any hope for me? Thinking of Charizard's miserable state that day, Articuno couldn't help but shudder. He quickly took action and locked onto the Lizard King. Then he used Absolute Zero to hit it directly and killed it instantly. The difference in strength, plus the attribute restrained. In fact, Articuno can kill it instantly even with the freezing beam. But who is Zumu? He can't stand not pretending for 3 minutes. He has a big move but doesn't use it. What if there is a mistake when using a small skill like freezing beam? What if he fails to kill it instantly and loses face? It's not safe. Absolute Zero is better. Boom. When the Lizard King fell to the ground, Amuzin accepted the ending woodenly and put it back into the Pokeball. It turns out that not every Lizard King is the stupid one. There is only one who can kill the legendary beast. I give up. Amuzin was completely heartbroken. There's no need to fight anymore. Okay, what's the point of playing like this? A mythical beast can destroy my entire team. This Articuno is at least supreme, right? No more playing. No more playing. I'm going home. Please pay attention to your attitude in the game, Amuzin. We don't allow passive play in the world's top competition. If you choose not to respect your opponent and the efforts of your elf, then we officials have the right to ban you for life. At the critical moment, the host Mijayu spoke. This statement represents the attitude of the official, which is the ultimate embodiment of money power. Chapter 289. All 3 sacred birds appear. Amuzin stared at Mijayu blankly, not knowing whether to cry or laugh. I can't afford to play. This competition is sponsored by your family, and the officials are all your people. I feel wronged. Please, self-destruct Magneto. Helplessly, as a truly ordinary little player, Amuzin can only respect the cruelty of reality. Whether it is public opinion, the competition officials, or the journalists and friends in the media. Now no one wants this game to end hastily. Even if Amuzin is really destroyed by Zumu, it will be a good topic. The beast appears and fights 6, perfectly destroying the team. Look, isn't the headline of tomorrow's headline news? Hard eye, then Absolute Zero. Zumu still gave this instruction, and his idea was quite simple. That is, the original 3 sacred birds, 2 for 1 bird. If it is 1 for 1 bird, it is a bit insufficient, and it cannot fully demonstrate Zumu's strength. Well, this is an excuse. Zumu mainly wants to give society some time to ferment, and then take out the Galar 3 sacred birds in the next game and pretend to be a little bit, without a single bit of defense, and without a trace of worry. Magneto exploded and fell just like that. The entire appearance time was no more than 10 seconds. Looking at Amuzen's expression of being worse than death, Zumu smiled with relief. See, the opponent's mentality collapsed. Very good. This is the effect we want. What is this? This is a psychological tactic. An excellent trainer will never suppress the opponent with a powerful Pokémon, but will give the opponent a deep blow at the tactical level. Let the opponent lose the will to fight again and collapse without fighting. That's it. That's right. Forget it. This is meaningless. You come back first. Articuno. Zumu looked bored and took back Articuno. This scene was seen by Amuzen, and he was suddenly upset. Damn, is it my chance? I don't have to be humiliated by a 1-on-6 fight? No, 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 young man, you still think too beautifully. Zumu's cruelty is beyond your imagination. Please, Coal Turtle. After summoning Coal Turtle, Amuzen took a deep breath and decided to adjust his state. Regain your fighting spirit. At least you have to defeat one of Zumu's elves. That way you won't look too embarrassed in tomorrow's news. But, there are not so many things that can come true in the world. You usually do good things, but now you don't want to worry about your future. Is this appropriate? Watching Zumu slowly take out a Pokeball, enlarge it, and then throw it out, a red light flashed, and a new big bird appeared in the air. Amuzen admitted that at this moment, he did have the idea of committing suicide. I can't live anymore. This life is unbearable. Oh my god, is this Moltres? I didn't expect that. After Zumu took back Articuno, he chose Moltres to play in the battle. Moltres is also one of the 3 legendary birds and is a legendary elf. I didn't expect that we could witness the battle between 2 legendary elves here today. It's such an honor. Mijayu is still fulfilling his duties seriously. Duanmuyu was completely stunned and dumbfounded. Two Supremes. Miss Zu, I can see that your Zu family has invested a lot of money in Zumu. Duanmuyu stuttered, pretending to be relaxed and making sarcastic remarks. However, Zu Zenzin didn't even raise her eyelids, but turned back calmly and said, Mr. Duanmu, you are wrong. It seems that the only help our Zu family gave to Zemu was that one Greninja. These 3 mythical birds in Lugia are the result of Zemu's own efforts and opportunities. As soon as Zu Zenzin finished speaking, there was an exclamation at the scene. What did she mean by this? In addition to praising Zumu's genius, she also secretly indicated that Zumu already had 3 mythical birds. So, this Moltres is not the last one. Next, it is very likely that the legendary Zapdos will appear. Oh my! The audience was shocked. Everyone was shocked. This Zumu is going to defy the heavens. At the age of 16, he conquered the 3 mythical birds and could be called an invincible trainer. In the future, there will be a legend that will last for decades. Molten, get ready for battle. After 2 days of contact, Zumu also had a general understanding of the personalities of the 3 original mythical birds. After giving him 30 seconds to act cool, Zumu spoke. His meaning was also quite obvious. That is, to tell Moltres that it was almost done. Don't get carried away like that stupid bird Articuno, not knowing who is the protagonist. Today I am the one showing off. You all should be quiet. Okay, Zumu. Moltres is still a little more rational than Articuno. He has always kept Greninja's advice firmly in mind. Hearing Zumu's words, he responded immediately, and at the same time put on a fighting state and looked at the honest turtle on the ground. What can Coal Turtle do? He can keep his neck outside the turtle shell now, which is already a great respect for the trainer Amuzen. Otherwise, with Coal Turtle's personality, he would have used the shell retraction long ago. Molten, burn it all out. No nonsense, just use the ultimate move. What we want is to kill instantly. Is it okay not to use the ultimate move? If it's not killed instantly, is the news cool enough? Not enough. No. Boom. When Moltres burned up with a shameless move, the Coal Turtle successfully fell down. Please, Moon Elf, let's be honest. When a person has experienced great sorrow and joy, and experience despair again and again, he may become much more indifferent. Just like Amuzin now, the child has figured it out. Am I not just a background board? Okay, then I will be a good background board. At least those scholars who study the three mythical birds in the future can still remember that there was a trainer named Amuzin Trautruously Gadibei. He was killed instantly by Zumuyu, the strongest genius in human history. Using the three mythical birds, he lost the World King Tournament 6-0. Unfortunately, he didn't know that no one would remember him just because of his excellent name. Boom. As Malters's divine bird rush ended, Moon Elf also succeeded gloriously. Zumuyu took back the powerful Malters and calmly replaced it with Zapdos. He didn't mean anything else, just that as a qualified trainer, he couldn't be partial. That was the basic operation. So, Articuno and Malters were both out, and Zapdos couldn't be left behind, right? Next is you, Zapdos. Zumuyu smiled unrestrainedly, and the breeze gently blew his bangs. Zumuyu's handsome face was set off, making it even more handsome and sunny. The photographer also captured Zumuyu at this angle at the first time, and it was another perfect headline news cover. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 290, Knockout Round 3. When Zapdos defeated Amuzin's last two Pokémon, Amuzin shook his head helplessly. Everything was over. More than 3 years of hard work had now completely turned into bubbles and phantoms. Thinking back to when he had worked hard and trained with the Pokémon in various secret realms, 3 years of hardship, and then nothingness. The word miserable could no longer correctly describe Amuzin's current situation. It was an honor for him to be Zumuyu's background board. Turning around and leaving the venue in a chic manner, Zumuyu enjoyed the spotlights and the countless reporters and media that swarmed in. Mr. Zumuyu, everyone wants to know how you subdued your mythical beasts. Mr. Zumuyu, is there any special connection between Lugia and the three mythical birds? Mr. Zumuyu, I want to know how you made the mythical beasts listen to your instructions. Zumuyu looked at the pile of microphones in front of him and smiled slowly. How do you make the mythical beasts listen to you? It's simple. Just pluck their feathers. Leaving this sentence, Zumuyu turned around and left in a chic manner. A group of reporters stared at each other in the original place. What do you mean? What's the meaning of plucking hair? I don't know either. Do you need to use hot water to pluck the hair of a mythical beast? Ahem. I don't know either. It took Zumuyu only half an hour to return to his residence. From the end of the game to the fermentation of the incident, it took such a short time for it to become popular all over the world. To be honest, if Zumuyu debuts now, he will definitely be a popular traffic trainer. If you want to invite Zumuyu to a show or interview, you will definitely need a sky-high appearance fee. It should be said that Zumuyu's wave is really more than pretending to be round. Fuck, this kid is better at playing than me. Zufeng and Jiu, who were far away at the border, knew the news. Looking at Zumuyu's handsome face in the video, they exclaimed. Jiu looked at the video with a look of relief. My son is awesome. After expressing her heartfelt feelings, Jiu looked at Zufeng beside her and showed a look of disgust. Zumuyu, not only Zufeng and his wife knew the news, but also Zhao Yang. Chia was working when he saw a video sent to him by his secretary. The video cover read, shocked, a 16-year-old boy actually owns Lugia and the three mythical birds at the same time. Wow. Zhao Yang was also shocked. This is really shocking. How can this be a 16-year-old boy? This is clearly a legend, right? The old man has lived to this day, and he has never said that he can subdue the mythical beasts. Damn. With envy and jealousy, Zhao Yang opened the video and saw Zumuyu, who was showing off all the way in the video. Smacking his lips speechlessly, Zhao Yang said that he was convinced. My grandson is awesome. Kyle was as speechless as Zhao Yang. Looking at the video sent by the secretary, Kyle felt bitter in his mouth. Well, Zumuyu is really big now. I don't know why. Kyle always feels inexplicably that Zumuyu's next target may be himself. Although Zufeng has traveled thousands of miles to Western Europe to beat him up, Kyle still feels. Zumuyu, This kid will not let me go so easily. If he is so forgetful, he is not Zumyu. Rubbing his face that had just recovered, Kyle swallowed his saliva and slowly closed his eyes. Life is not easy. It is too hard for me. Things are still fermenting, and Zumyu's name is constantly mentioned by people. According to statistics, the most popular keywords in 3 days are Zumyu, 3 divine birds, Lugia, and the 3 divine birds team destroying incident. This has to mention the poor Western European boy who was automatically ignored by people because his name was too long. Next, let's welcome Zumyu to enter. In the last elimination match, Zumyu used the 3 divine birds to complete zero-loss competition. I wonder what surprises Zumyu will give us in this game. The host Mijayu fulfilled his responsibilities as always. After introducing Zumyu, he mentioned the mediocre opponent. Of course, no one in the audience came to see Zumyu's opponent. They all came for Zumyu's 3 divine birds. You're not going to use the 3 divine birds to sweep me today, are you? The mediocre opponent asked tremblingly, watching Zumyu's chic entry. Zumyu nodded, then shook his head, yes and no. The mediocre opponent was a little confused. He didn't understand what Zumyu meant. In the guest seats, Duan Muyu and Zhu Kaienqian sat together. After hearing Zumyu's words, Duan Muyu looked at Zhu Kaienqian in confusion. There are surprises today too. Zhu Kaienqian reluctantly spoiled it. The mediocre opponent was already very panicked, and now that Zhu Kaienqian said this, he has completely lost his fighting spirit. It is rare to find a brainless person who knows he can't win but still shouts stupidly. This world is indeed like this. There are no idiots among the trainers who can get to this point. At least they all have some brains. Now Zumyu has already demonstrated his strength, and he knows that he will lose if he meets Zumyu, who would still risk his life to provoke him. Don't you think your death is not tragic enough? Seeing his opponent shrinking and not daring to fight him, Zumyu was helpless. To be honest, it's too hard to find a good villain at this stage. The system is the same. I don't know what's wrong. It doesn't arrange anything for Zumyu. He doesn't do anything serious every day. Well, don't feel any psychological pressure, Zumyu said awkwardly, stretching out his hand. Indeed, he was sincere. But an ordinary opponent wouldn't be like this. God damn, there is no pressure. With you like this, how can I not feel pressure when fighting you? Don't worry, I don't need the 3 from the last game. Seeing that the opponent still had no fighting spirit, Zumyu decided to continue to say a few words to open the opponent's psychological defenses. Let him ignite his fighting spirit. Are you sure? The ordinary opponent was fooled and asked stupidly. Zumyu nodded naturally. I'm sure. I definitely don't need the 3 from the last game. If I use them, I lose. These words instantly dampened the enthusiasm of the audience. Everyone has paid money to buy tickets to see your 3 sacred birds, but you just say you don't need them. Are you being fair to the audience? Zumyu didn't explain too much and smiled calmly. The problem now is not the audience. The audience is not important. A good show-off depends on whether the object being shown off can provide a good foil. If the opponent is not strong, then Zumyu's show-off will be boring. So now, the most important thing is to ignite the opponent's fighting spirit. In this way, Zumyu can proceed to the next scene naturally. Okay, please. Great King Swallow. After releasing the Great King Swallow, the opponent looked at Zumyu doubtfully. Chapter 291. The 3 Galar birds appear. Okay, please, Galar Malters. Zumyu saw that his mediocre opponent released the elves, and then he threw out the Galar Malters with confidence. In fact, Zumyu did not lie. He did not use the 3 elves from the last game. That's right, you see, I used Galar Malters, not Malters. At this time, the opponent was full of melancholy. Don't ask. If you are about to become a background board for others to show off, you will also be melancholy. If Zumyu really doesn't use the magic bird, in fact, the opponent thinks that he still has the strength to fight. After all, although Zumyu is the champion of the King Challenge, he is just a newly promoted king. His strength is at best the level of the King Master. Of course, this is the general view of the outside world, and it does not represent Zumyu's own true strength. What is this? Oh my god, Zumu actually captured a Moltres burning with black and purple flames. Is this Moltres' new skin? What's going on? The host's voice spread from the speakers to the ears of everyone present. His question is also the question of the audience. What kind of species is this? A dyed Moltres, Galar Moltres. I remember Zumu just called it that. Could this Moltres be the new regional characteristic Pokémon that we have not yet defined and researched? Duanmuyu still knows more. He immediately analyzed the identity of Moltres. Zuzenza nodded. Duanmuyu was right. He was worthy of being the famous Duanmu researcher. Seeing that Duanmuyu had analyzed it roughly, Zumu stopped keeping it a secret and said, "My Moltres is a Pokémon from the Galar region. Unlike normal Moltres, due to the special climate environment of the Galar region, Moltres has now become a dark and flying Pokémon. Look at the flames burning on him. That's the fire of hell." Zumu's voice was very magnetic and had some penetrating power. After he said this, the scene exploded. "Good guy. You, young man, are not honest. When everyone thought you only had one mythical beast, you came up with a whole set. Now everyone thinks you have a set, and you come up with a new model. Don't tell me that you also have a set of 3 new sacred birds?" The flashlights came on again, surrounding Zumu and Galar Moltres. The media and journalist friends once again started working overtime, rushing to finish the manuscript. No one expected that just 2 days later, Zumu would come up with another big news. Now, Zumu has become a super sponsor in the media industry. He can support hundreds of thousands of media workers with a small operation. "We are not afraid of King Yen." When the ordinary opponent said this again, he was afraid. But King Yen is a special kind of elf. If the Lizard King is blindly confident, then King Yen would rather die than surrender. What sacred bird is not a sacred bird? Don't everyone have 2 wings and 1 head? I am afraid of you. Don't care about life and death. Just fight if you don't obey. If you have the ability, you can beat me down. Otherwise I will beat you down. Die with a roar. King Yen told the ordinary opponent that he was not afraid, but full of fighting spirit. The opponent was stunned. "Great Swallow, it's not good for you to do this. You'll easily suffer. The society outside is dangerous." Zumu and Galar Moltres didn't expect that this Great Swallow would be so reckless. What's going on? Doesn't it know that this is a mythical beast? Are you crazy? Moltres tilted its head and looked at the Great Swallow in confusion. I wonder what's in this little guy's head. Are you crazy to fight with me? Die, you're crazy. Once again making its signature mocking cry, the Great Swallow said that not only was there nothing wrong with itself, but on the contrary, the Pokémon with a problem should be this Moltres. Is your eyesight so bad? Are you still asking yourself if you're crazy? Can't you see such an obvious thing yourself? Zumu heard the conversation between the 2 birds. He first looked at the Great Swallow in confusion, then he looked at his mediocre opponent in confusion. "How many years has this elf been with you?" The opponent didn't know why Zumu asked this, but he still answered in cooperation, "More than 9 years. We have been together for a long time." Indeed, Wang Yan was the elf that the opponent conquered early, and because of his efforts, he has never fallen behind. He successfully retained his position in the starting lineup. It's been 9 years. So the relationship is quite deep, and it shouldn't be thrown away casually. Okay, take him to the hospital when you have time. Don't be afraid of spending money. The most important thing is to cure the disease. Zumu was like a father instructing his child, sincerely admonishing. The opponent was a little confused. No, he was not a little confused now. He was so confused that he was about to die. What's going on? My Wang Yan has a terminal illness? Is there any cure? The opponent asked this question tremblingly, and his heart seemed to skip a beat. Even at this moment, he had made plans. If Wang Yan really has an incurable disease, after returning, he would sell the house to treat Wang Yan. Ahem. Yes, don't panic, it's not a big deal. It's just to cure the brain. You don't have to think too much. As long as the brain is cured, the king swallow should not be a big problem. Zumu coughed dryly and said what he wanted to say. The implication is that your king swallow's brain is a little not working well, and it dared to provoke the legendary beast. However, saying this means one thing, and listening to it means another. The opponent has been completely panicked, looking at the king swallow staring fiercely at Moltres in the sky. His heart was bleeding, thinking of the past with the King Swallow, every bit they experienced together. Fragments of memory formed and destroyed in the opponent's mind, and tears gradually fell. Zoomu couldn't bear it anymore. He hurriedly said, "Don't be red-eyed, I'm serious." "Forget it. It's definitely hard to explain to a trainer like you, alas, poor King Swallow." As he said this, Zoomu also sighed. With a bad brain and no one to take him to see a doctor, how can he not be pitiful? Bullshit. What kind of trainer am I? How can I not explain it clearly? I know, it's just that my King Swallow has some health problems. I'll take him to the hospital when I get back. Although you have a bad attitude, I still want to thank you for informing me of King Swallow's condition in time. If you can rescue him in time, I will come to thank you. As he said this, the opponent stared at him and made up his mind. King Swallow has been with him for so long, this time, let the old friend let go and fight for the last time. As for other things, I believe it will be in time when we get to the hospital. Chapter 292 Zoomu makes headlines again. Well, I advise you to check your brain after the game. Zoomu wiped his cold sweat and said helplessly, as expected, there are such trainers as there are such Pokémon. Fighting with an opponent who doesn't even deserve the name consumes not only brain cells, but also patience. Molten, it's almost done. Fight. There are two guys waiting for you behind. After Zoomu said this, Molters was not polite. With a move of anger, the black and purple flames rushed directly towards the King Swallow. So, the facts prove it. In the face of absolute strength, backbone is useless. Even if the King Swallow has a proud character, it can't withstand the bite of Molters after all. There was no hesitation, and no surprise. The King Swallow was lying dead. After the mediocre opponent took it back, he handed it over to the rescue team on the sidelines without saying a word, and solemnly instructed, first give my King Yen first aid, and then give him a comprehensive physical examination. Don't worry about the cost. I will cure King Yen's illness even if I go bankrupt. What a coincidence. The doctor who came to rescue this time was the doctor who usually treated Charizard. Without saying anything, he understood it in seconds. Isn't it just a sucker? I have seen many people who are looking for trouble when they are not sick. Don't worry, we will do our best to give you a healthy elf. Hearing the doctor say this, the ordinary opponent was also relieved. He let out a long breath and bowed. Thank you, doctor. The doctor also smiled innocently. You're welcome. We also want to thank you for your support. Very good. The intention of cooperation has been reached, and it's another big deal. The happy doctor left, and the ordinary opponent also showed a relieved smile. This doctor is really good. With him, my King Yen should not have any accidents. Come on. Thank Zoomu for your guidance. I will definitely go all out to complete this game. As the mediocre opponent released his next Pokémon, the game continued. Just now, Galar Molters' move of burning with anger directly stunned everyone at the scene. Duan Muyu in the stands also opened his mouth in surprise and asked in confusion, what skill is this? Zhu Zenzin was quite knowledgeable. She was also there when Zoomu subdued the 3 Galar mythical birds. She answered, this is the exclusive skill of the Galar region Molters. It's very powerful. After Zhu Zenzin's explanation, the audience rang out oh. Everyone seemed to understand, but not completely. They only half understood that this was the exclusive skill of this special Molters. It seems to be very powerful. After Galar Molters, there was Galar Articuno and Galar Zapdos. With the cooperation of the mediocre opponent, this perfect background board played its full role. Through the technique of contrast, Zoomu's awesomeness was highlighted, and the strength of the 3 birds of Galar is not inferior to the original 3 birds. When the game is over, internet users around the world are in an uproar again, because the border incident was made public. Many people have despaired of the world and are worried that the world will be destroyed after the defeat. They began to spread negative comments on the internet. The internet supervision departments in East and Western Europe delete such comments as soon as they see them. But they can't delete them all. They can only let them go on. Now, the 6 birds of Zoomu appear and shut these people up, who said that there are no people in the post-Elven civilization world. We have Zoomu. A tiger father will have a dog son. When Zoomu grows up, he will definitely be able to carry the banner of the world. complete what his father did not complete, drive Team Rocket back, and end the war, protect the world. Now, Zumu's name is a belief and symbol in the entire post-civilization world. As long as Zumu is not defeated, people's faith will never collapse. This truth is not only understood by smart people, but also by Zhao Yang and Kyle. Seeing Zumu's explosion, they directly pushed him from behind and used official resources to promote Zumu. That's good. Now there is no one in the world who doesn't know Zumu. Even families with 2G networks have learned about Zumu's existence through friends and colleagues. Even in remote mountain villages, someone sent newspapers to inform everyone that Zumu has 6 divine birds and Zumu is invincible. I seem to be exaggerating. Looking at the overwhelming reports, Zumu scratched his head helplessly. He was on a video call with Sirona. After not seeing him for a few days, his girlfriend seemed to be cute again. You still know that you are willing to be in the limelight. Now it's good. Sirona pouted, pretending to complain, and said. Zumu looked at Sirona with a smile, not angry, but with a hint of pampering in his eyes. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. From the day I chose to be a trainer, the world has actually been on my shoulders. Others can retreat, but I can't. So, I have done everything to save the world. Then why are you afraid of people knowing? Doing good things without leaving a name is not my style of doing things. After explaining to Sirona, Zumu breathed a sigh of relief. This is exactly what he was thinking. That's right, he has already done everything to save the world. So what is there to be afraid of people knowing? Sirona looked at Zumu, with some faint concerns. Actually, I'm not in a hurry to go back to that world. She was worried that Zumu was taking on the responsibility of the border just to help her go back. After all, Zumu should know that she was not Kyle's biological child, if it was really to help her return to her original world. And Zumu was so tired. Sirona felt a little self-blame and guilt. Don't worry, I'll take you back to see the place where you were born, find your biological parents, and know the truth of the past. That's for sure. However, I have some other things to do, so it's not all because of you. Don't worry, I'm very strong, nothing will happen, and I won't be tired. If I get tired one day, I'll lean on your arms, listen to you humming songs, eat ice cream, and take a rest. Zumu said, smiling warmly. In fact, his pressure did not all come from Sirona. If you want to blame, blame this damn system. If you want to blame, blame this time travel. In fact, it's my luck to meet you. You are my whole world. Saying heartwarming love words, Zumu looked at the girl he liked and gradually felt tired. Zumu in the video gradually fell asleep, and Sirona still hung up reluctantly. Just looking at Zumu, watching him sleeping, I gradually fell asleep. Chapter 293 Dark Rise Crisis. In the dream, Sirona seemed to see her wedding with Zumu. That day, many people came to the scene. They all wished themselves and Zumu happiness. Zumu held her hand, just like when they were in the evergreen forest, warm and full of security. The next day, looking at the 8-hour call record between him and Sirona, Zumu looked at the traffic usage distressedly. Fortunately, the call fee was not used, otherwise it would be a loss. After kissing Sirona who was sleeping, Zumu hung up the video. After washing up, he took his elves and started to eat. Selena had also woken up. The little girl cleaned up for herself, holding the flame-eared fox, and also joined the dinner table. Every time when eating, it was the most chaotic time here at Zumu. Snorlax held a small mountain of food and ate it with relish. Arceus quickly finished his portion and began to look at other elves. Observe whose breakfast is more delicious, wanting to taste them one by one. Charizard, as always, gave Arceus a little bit of his food, then he would wait for 10 minutes to see if Arceus had any problems before he started eating. The 6 mythical birds in Lugia gathered together, using their wings to protect their food to prevent Arceus from snatching it away. This guy is so fast that it is impossible to defend against him. Hoopa and Celebi only tasted a few mouthfuls symbolically, and hardly ate too much. Venusaur, besides Snorlax, ate on his own. He just had to use his Vine Whip from time to time to protect his and Snorlax's food. Dragonite, King of Leaf, and Blaziken were eating together. The 3 of them stood back to back, staring at the front with sharp eyes, fearing that Arceus would suddenly appear. "How about, next time you eat, you take a break first?" Seeing that Arceus was making everyone feel uneasy, Zumu suggested. His words were unanimously recognized by all the elves. "Arceus, this little bastard, only Ralph's food, he didn't snatch it, he wanted to go up and help taste other people's food." "Cool. No, little master, I think this is great. It can improve everyone's vigilance and reaction ability. Think, if they can even guard against Arceus, who else can sneak attack us in the future?" Zumu was stunned when he heard this. Oh my god, it seems to make sense. Arceus on the side was excited and grateful, looking at Koga Ninja, and thought to himself, "Good brother, if you ask me to help you in the future, I will definitely give you a 20% discount. Then you don't have to go back. Just eat it like this. It can improve reaction speed. It's really a good idea," Zumu said with a smile, putting a piece of meat into his mouth. Crack. This is the sound of teeth and chopsticks colliding. Looking at Arceus who was chewing not far away, Zumu got angry. "Come here." Enduring the severe pain in his front teeth, Zumu almost cried out in pain, biting hard on the chopsticks. This feeling, that's what everyone knows. If Serena wasn't there, Zumu would definitely yell, "It hurts too much." Arceus also knew that he had done something wrong, but there was nothing he could do. He just couldn't help himself when he saw the delicious food. Just when everyone was playing and making noises, a wounded Darkrai suddenly fell from the sky. Zumu was stunned, looking at the big hole in the roof. He was a little confused. "Ding. Congratulations to the host. Don't say anything. I know there is a mission." Interrupting the system, Zumu said that he was not stupid. He fell from the sky. If there was no special mission, I would have hit my head against the wall. Okay, the host is really smart. Then congratulations to the host for triggering the special mission, Darkrai's Crisis. Please follow Darkrai to the reverse world and help him rescue Cresselia from Giratina. Mission reward: the friendship between the God of Dreams and the God of Nightmares. Zumu flipped the table directly. Goddamn friendship. Just say you are stingy and don't want to buy goods. What the hell is this plane? Okay, kneel down and say hello. Zumu said helplessly to the dog system in his heart, and looked at Darkrai. My goodness, the child is really injured. Celebi, Arceus, you two treat him. Then the rest of the guys hurry up and eat. We have to go a long way later. Selena, don't go this time. I'm afraid I can't take good care of you. It seems a little dangerous this time. Zumu quickly arranged everything. He felt like a firefighter now. Help wherever there is trouble. Fire prevention and theft prevention. And even climbing trees to catch cats. Okay, then uncle, be careful. Serena was still obedient. When Zumu said there was danger, she didn't make a fuss, and nodded obediently. The Greninja on the side waved his fist excitedly. Great, there's another fight to fight. He was so motivated that he didn't even eat his meal and started warming up directly. This is to prepare for a big battle. On the other hand, Charizard was a little hesitant. Having seen many battles between mythical beasts, Charizard knew how dangerous the outside world was. To be honest, he didn't want to get involved in such a mess. What if he got injured? How painful it would be. Getting injured is not a big deal, but if he got unlucky and lost his life, that would be bad. Roar. Zumu, can I apply for sick leave? Seeing that Charizard still had the nerve to speak, Zumu immediately retorted, you can apply for early death, and I'll prepare a coffin for you. Charizard will take the lead in a while. Everyone can relax first. Roar? Question mark. No, Zumu, if I get injured, the medical expenses will be so expensive. Zumu saw Charizard anxiously looking for excuses. He laughed immediately. As usual, I'll pay for the medical expenses. No, you haven't paid for your own medical expenses either. When was it not me who paid for you? No, that makes me even more upset. It's settled. You'll be the main force in the fight against Giratina. Zumu got angrier and angrier as he spoke, so he just decided it. Charizard was stunned when he saw Zumu's hasty decision. Giratina, oh, if I fight him, I'll be dead, right? Thinking of this, Charizard stopped struggling. He went to the side and pulled Dragonite. Roar. Brother, I know you're educated. Well, while this Darkrai is still asleep, can you help me write a suicide note? Dragonite, Zoomu, Greninja, Darkrai, ahem, ahem, where am I? Not long after, Darkrai slowly woke up under the full treatment of Celebi and Arceus. The moment he opened his eyes, Charizard was in despair. Roar! I don't want to live anymore. Find a river quickly. I want to jump into the river and commit suicide. Just let me drown. Woo woo woo. Chapter 294, Giratina in a bad mood. Otherwise, the world of elves is interesting. Although this world is about strength, even powerful beasts have their own troubles. Recently, Giratina read a book somewhere. Inexplicably, he discovered that elves and humans can dream. Giratina was confused. Why haven't I ever had a dream? What is a dream? Is it the kind where you are invincible in a dream, can step on alpacas, and can turn into a horse when you disagree with someone? This is wrong. Why don't I have a dream? I also want to step on alpacas, but forget about turning into a horse. It's not important. If you dare to think, you dared to do it. Don't think that Giratina is living in the reverse world and seems to have no sense of existence. However, this guy is very courageous. If you want to dream, but you can't do it yourself, what should you do? Find a professional. After thinking about it, Giratina decided to capture the dream god. Compared to Darkrai, Cresselia is more beautiful, and she has excellent professional skills. Just listen to this name, the god of dreams. This is better than the god of nightmares, isn't it? It is said that Rayquaza once provoked Darkrai, and this guy gave Rayquaza a nightmare. In the dream, Rayquaza was pressed and hit by 10,000 green caterpillars. That scene made Rayquaza dare not leave the sky pillar for more than 3 years, for fear of seeing wild green caterpillars and unable to control his impulse to destroy the world. He did what he said, and Giratina had nothing to do every day. After finding out Cresselia's location, Giratina directly crossed the plain and captured her. Help! Cresselia was not good at fighting, and she was suddenly attacked by Giratina while bathing in the lake. There was no time to react, and she could only scream and be swept away by Giratina. Back in the reverse world, Giratina looked at Cresselia proudly. You screamed. Why didn't you scream? Cresselia's face was livid, and she stared at Giratina angrily. She didn't curse, but she didn't say anything either. Being peeped at while taking a bath is a big taboo. Regardless of what Giratina's purpose is, Cresselia has made up her mind. She will never help him. As luck would have it, Darkrai recently got a superpower scarf and happily prepared to send it to Cresselia. But when he arrived at the place, he found that Cresselia was gone. What happened? A little confused, Darkrai's first reaction was that he was cheated. Did Cresselia run away with someone else? Fortunately, Cresselia was very smart. Before being captured, she left a shot of predicting the future. Through this superpower, Darkrai found the entrance to the reverse world. He also guessed that it was probably Giratina who was playing tricks and captured Cresselia. As a mythical beast that had fought Dialga and Palkia, Darkrai said, "It's just a Giratina. I'm not afraid of it. For my wife, I rushed." In this way, Giratina beat Darkrai later. Darkrai was panicking and broke into the space-time rift, accidentally coming to Zoomu. This was the beginning of Charizard's tragic experience. System, what do you say? Do you want to send us there, or do I ask the Ultimate to go there myself? Zoomu didn't care about the system's feelings at all and asked. The system was speechless. I'm a Goldfinger. Please give me some respect that a Goldfinger should have. Okay? Zoomu didn't bother to pay attention to him. Seeing that the system didn't move, he called out the Ultimate to tear the space directly. Swish! The screen flashed, and Zoomu and Darkrai came to the reversed space, riding on the back of the Invincible. Zoomu asked, "Where is Cresselia?" Darkrai was not stupid. He had worked with humans before, so he naturally knew that Zoomu had saved him and was going to help him get his wife back. This Zoomu was a good man, and he must not let him down. "Over there, I'll lead the way for you." Flying respectfully in front to lead the way, Darkrai's heart was filled with emotion. There are always many good people when you go out. He had just been beaten half to death by Giratina, but he didn't expect that after entering the space-time rift, he would have another adventure. It's really a matter of time. Giratina, don't bully the poor young man. Darkrai, who was overjoyed, flew very quickly, and soon found Giratina with Zoomu. At this time, Giratina was negotiating with Cresselia, who was controlled. "Stop yelling, no one will come to save you even if you scream your throat out. Tell me, what conditions will you agree to? I've already beaten that jerk Darkrai away. Don't expect anyone else to intervene in this matter. Hurry up, please, give me a straight answer. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time." Giratina's voice was heard by Zoomu and Darkrai. Zoomu was actually fine. He just looked at Giratina with a look of astonishment. "I didn't expect a nether dragon like you." And Darkrai couldn't stand it anymore. "In broad daylight, under the clear sky, what kind of lewd words are you saying here? What have you been looking forward to for a long time, you old pervert? You and my Cresselia are not in the same group for hatching eggs. Did you know that? You are planning to take advantage of my wife's body. You bastard, you've really had enough of life, old pervert. Go to hell." With a roar, Darkrai rushed. His woman was controlled by someone and couldn't move, and he had to endure these shocking verbal harassment. "You're a man with a penis, so you can't bear it, right?" Darkrai knew that although he couldn't beat Giratina, he couldn't let himself be rational at this moment. "If you're a man, come and cut me." With a shadow surprise attack, Darkrai attacked Giratina with all his strength. At the same time, Zoomu also released Charizard. There was no other meaning, just to tell Charizard that he remembered what he just said. Leading the charge was not a joke, it was real. Charizard looked at Zoomu in a daze. "Roar? Zoomu, are you kidding?" Zoomu shook his head and looked at Charizard with firm eyes. "Don't worry, I'm not kidding. I think it's time for you to try to bear the pressure, otherwise it's not good for your growth to always stay in your comfort zone," Zoomu said, and secretly gave himself a yes in his heart. "I can come up with such a great excuse casually, I am worthy of it." Charizard heard this, without any change in expression. "I also thought, MMP, this sentence is definitely something you made up on the spur of the moment, specifically to fool Long. Don't rush to deny it, I won't accept any rebuttal." Chapter 295, Giratina's dog-licking nature. In fact, this world is always a cycle of cause and effect. Giratina took Darkrai's wife away and beat Darkrai up. Naturally, he has to accept retribution. Every action has its effect, and I am your retribution. Zoomu came just like that. Not only did he come, but he also brought Arceus and Infinite. Although these two guys are not yet grown up and their combat power has not yet developed to the peak level, but just the identity is enough to make Giratina panic. "Your reinforcements, are these?" A move of the Dragon Tail knocked Darkrai away, and Giratina was a little confused. "Just bring a human trainer with Charizard back to seek revenge on me." "Are you sure?" Before Darkrai could reply, Charizard suddenly shouted, "Roar! Zoomu, look, this guy looks down on you. Can you tolerate this? Let Infinite beat him." Seeing the dancing Charizard like a crouching dragon and a young phoenix, offering advice beside him, Zoomu slapped it and pushed it away. "You shameful thing, just watch." Hearing that Zoomu was willing to let him go, Charizard immediately sprayed flames into the sky excitedly. "Long live, Roar! Zoomu, you are really the most handsome trainer in the world." Before leaving, Charizard did not forget to flatter him, and then turned into a red light and returned to the Pokeball. Zoomu pouted. He didn't really want Charizard and Giratina to fight hard. After all, this is an old beast that has lived for who knows how many years. At this stage, if Charizard fights him one-on-one, I'm afraid there is no other possibility except being killed instantly. I just wanted to scare this guy. But, Giratina actually dared to look down on me. It's really interesting. What's the matter? I'm a reinforcement. You don't think it's okay? Looking at the arrogant Giratina, Zoomu asked directly. Seeing Zoomu speak, Giratina was not afraid, and responded with a dragon wave without saying a word. Mugen hurriedly dodged. It was at this time that Giratina noticed that the purple dragon under Zoomu's feet was actually Mugen. "Human, who are you?" "Mugen." That big guy almost turned the whole world upside down. The Mugen in front of him now doesn't look as big as that guy, so he should be the descendant of that guy. But why is he being driven by a human? Giratina was a little confused. He couldn't figure it out. "Who am I, and what does it have to do with you? Release Cresselia for me now. maybe I can forgive you half. Giratina didn't expect Zumu to be so confident that he actually asked him to release him. Not only that, but he only forgives half of it, so what about the other half? Cut it off. You say to release it, so I don't have any face. Being threatened by a human on his own territory, Giratina couldn't stand it. With a Mugen who hasn't grown up, you should stop pretending, right? What's the matter? That old guy is dead. Do you really think I can't beat an underage everlasting? Thinking about it, Giratina got angry. When he got angry, he would easily do something that he couldn't bear the consequences. For example, he opened his mouth and fired a Dragon Star Swarm, directly killing Zumu and Everlasting. Arceus, swallow him. The Dragon Star Swarm was indeed a little confused. Zumu was worried that Everlasting's protection would not be able to withstand it. After all, this Giratina is also an old monster. His strength may have reached the peak of Demigod or even higher. At present, Everlasting has not yet reached the Gigantamax, so it is possible that he can't withstand this attack. In a hurry, Zumu directly called Arceus with the Dragon Slave to come out. This guy eats all day long, and he should do something serious. Sure enough, the glutton is still very useful at critical moments, just like when he made Everlasting lose his temper. Arceus has the Dragon Slate and swallowed Giratina's Dragon Star Swarm in one gulp. By the way, he burped comfortably. To be honest, at this moment, Giratina was stunned. Ah, Arceus, seeing the legendary god of creation appear in front of him, Giratina was completely dumbfounded. He was so surprised that he couldn't even say a complete sentence. You are not, already. Zumu heard this, and his pupils shrank instantly. This old man might know something. What happened to Arceus? Finish your words, Zumu asked, but Giratina kept silent. It was as if there was some taboo that prevented him from talking about this matter. You will understand what you can't say later. At this moment, the look in Giratina's eyes when he looked at Zumu was completely different from the contempt just now. Now in his eyes, in addition to astonishment, there was more respect. That's right, not respect for Arceus, but for Zumu. I will let Cresselia go now. What happened before was my fault. I hope you don't care about Xiaolong. I just want to have a dream. As he said, Giratina had withdrawn the energy that imprisoned Cresselia. At the same time, she explained in a low voice. Before Zumu could say anything, Cresselia, who had just regained her freedom, teleported to Giratina. Then she slapped him. She slapped him with her tail. Pa! A clear and crisp sound echoed throughout the inverted world. Darkrai, who had just flown back, was shocked when he saw this scene. My wife still has such a temper? Oh my god. Fortunately, I didn't quarrel with her before, otherwise these consecutive slaps would definitely hit my face. Pa 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 pa. After a series of consecutive slaps, Cresselia was relieved a lot. Asshole, if you peek at people taking a bath again in the future, I will kill you. After saying these harsh words, Cresselia also regained her sanity and thought about stopping while she was ahead. But her words were unintentional, but the listener took them seriously. Darkrai, who was standing aside, was originally glad that his wife was released. As a result, when he heard these words, he couldn't help his temper. You peeked at her bathing? Damn it, don't stop me. I'm going to die with him today. With the intention of self-destructing, Darkrai rushed directly towards Giratina. Come on, I can't beat you, so I'll self-destruct and neither of us will survive. My wife was seen naked by someone. How can I tolerate this? Damn it, I, Darkrai, am a legendary beast who has fought Dialga and Palkia head-on. None of us can think about it today. I'm not going to live anymore. I'm not going to live anymore. To be honest, the most confused person at this moment is not Zumu, not Infinite, nor Arceus. It's Giratina who has just been slapped in a series of slaps. What's going on? Normally, your wife doesn't wear clothes, so I saw her naked. What did I do? Cac? Chapter 296. Arceus leaves the team and is forced to practice. Although Darkrai was very powerful, the gap in strength was huge after all. Giratina just casually hit Darkrai and he flew without a trace, disappearing in front of everyone again. After resolving the unstable factors, Giratina looked at Cresselia and whispered, I didn't know you were taking a shower at that time. I just heard that everyone can dream. but as a ghost dragon, I have never had the feeling of dreaming. That's why I came to you. I'm sorry." In front of Arceus and Xumu, Giratina was still very sensible. "If you are wrong, stand at attention and bow your head to apologize obediently, so that you can eat meat in the future." Seeing Giratina admit his mistake, Cresselia didn't want to pursue anything further. "Forget it. Just think of it as being looked at by a dog. Unlucky." With a pout and a sigh, Cresselia turned around and thanked Xumu. Xumu didn't care. Saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. "I, Xumu, am kind by nature. When I see injustice on the road, I must draw my sword to help. If you have any problems in the future, feel free to contact me in Darkrai." After giving Xumu 2 feathers, Cresselia said, "This feather of mine has the effect of making people or elves sleep peacefully. If you have a girl you like, you can give it to her." Cresselia's voice is very ethereal, but also relatively soft. In Tomato's words, it is the voice of a queen. Xumu happily accepted the 2 feathers and smiled. "Thank you. I didn't do anything. I hope you can live a good life after you go back. If there is anything, I will contact you through these 2 feathers." After some politeness, Cresselia found Darkrai, who was casually knocked away by Giratina. Grabbing Darkrai's ears, the 2 elves left their reversed world. "Tsk tsk tsk. Are these the god of dreams and the god of nightmares?" Tilting his head, Xumu looked at the young couple and clicked his tongue helplessly. "Indeed, I ate this dog food and felt full." "Well, Xumu, right? I didn't mean it this time. Look, it's like this. The dream god has gone back." Giratina looked at Xumu, Arceus, and Infinite. He said cautiously, "This world is really unfair." Xumu has 2 descendants of big guys in his hands. Not to mention Giratina. Even if Z-God came, he would have to consider whether he could afford to offend Xumu. Indeed, Xumu's strength is not strong enough now, but he has potential. He has 2 of the top 3 of the 10 great beasts. Who can compare with this? Can you afford it? You can't afford it, right? Giratina said, "I have to admit defeat." Fortunately, his choice was completely correct. If he didn't admit defeat today, I'm afraid that his reversed world would not have a peaceful life in the next few hundred years. Arceus and Infinite might beat him once a day after they grow up. "Alright, I get it. You didn't do anything wrong. You were just a little reckless." Xumu waved his hand, not wanting to deal with Giratina. "After all, no matter what, you shouldn't hit someone who smiles at you." Giratina has already given in. There's really no point in fighting or not. "By the way, Xumu, Arceus should have been born not long ago," Giratina suddenly asked. Xumu nodded. "Indeed, he has been a trainer for less than a year. Arceus is not even a year old yet." "Well, what's wrong?" Xumu nodded without knowing what Giratina meant. Giratina looked as if it was just what he expected, and said, "Is he a big eater?" Xumu was stunned when he heard that. "Yeah, how did you know?" Arceus' reputation as a glutton is not just talk. Speaking of the big spenders in Xumu's team, the first one to bear the brunt is Hoopa. This kid is a spendthrift. Let's not talk about recharging games. But I heard that recently all games have been ordered to use real names, and minors can get refunds. Xumu feels that his good days may be coming. He is only 16, which means that he can have the opportunity to ask the game company to refund the money Hoopa recharged. In addition, the launch of the health protection system can also reasonably arrange Hoopa's game time. It's really great. Hoopa sneered, "Hee hee. Do you think I will continue to use your identity to authenticate the game account? Don't you have 7 ants?" The second big spender should be Charizard. This guy's visit to the hospital costs so much that it is enough to build another hospital. Anyway, everyone knows. Let's not talk about it. Xumu cried and fainted in the toilet. And the third one is Arceus, the foodie. People say that being a trainer is expensive. Pokémon training requires resources, and Pokémon improvement requires methods, which are all places where money is burned. But Xumu doesn't think so. He mainly thinks that when being a trainer, you must choose the right Pokémon. Does training cost money? That's just a small amount of money, as long as you don't choose a cautious and brave Pokémon. As long as you don't choose an internet-addicted Pokémon, as long as you don't choose a glutton. In fact, being a trainer is still acceptable. The current situation of Arceus is that his body needs a lot of energy to develop, so he needs to eat a lot of food. In fact, this is the process of his energy conversion. Looking at his current development level, Zoomu, you should have taken good care of him. Giratina's praise this time was not flattery, but sincere. Zoomu played and played, but he never deducted Arceus's food. After all, Zoomu could accept Hoopa and Charizard, and Arceus had no other bad habits. Just eat, he can still afford it. Well, thank you for the compliment. Touching Arceus' head, Zoomu smiled embarrassedly. Arceus, this guy, is the first Pokémon to call him Dad. How could Zoomu be bad to him? Actually, I have a suggestion. Arceus needs too much energy now, and the way of converting it with food is not enough after all. So, I hope he can stay with me for about a week. I will provide him with a lot of energy to help him digest and absorb. In fact, this is also the backup plan his father left for him. Perhaps he had expected this day to come. Giratina couldn't help but sigh as he spoke. Zoomu thought about it and nodded decisively. Arceus, 1 week, is it okay? Looking at Arceus, Zoomu asked. The little guy has never left him since he was born. Zoomu was worried that he would not be able to adapt if he suddenly let him stay here for a week. After all, he regarded Arceus as his own child. If Arceus didn't want to, Zoomu would have to spend all his money to buy enough food to help Arceus grow smoothly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 297. Make the game interesting. After handing Arceus over to Giratina for a week, Zoomu returned to his residence. There were still competitions to come. After Zoomu had pretended to compete with the 6 divine birds, he decided to focus on completing the mission. After all, being the protagonist was stressful. Thinking back to when he said he didn't want to be a trainer, in the end, Zoomu had to compromise. Now that I think about it, everything has its consequences, and I am your retribution. Dog system, you really got what you wanted. There were 7 more round-robin matches in the next competition. They were 6-on-6 all-member battles with the other 8 teams. To be honest, if I had described each of these 7 matches carefully, this book might have become a failure. There was no other way. No matter how exciting the battles were, if there were too many, people would get tired of watching them. So, Zoomu had pretended to compete as much as he should have. He had done what he should do. There is really no need to describe the following things in an exaggerated way. If it is written, the author thinks that it may be written into 500,000 words. Come on. The plot continues. A month later, Zoomu, as a rookie who has just become a trainer for a year, successfully won the World King Championship. On the day of the award ceremony, everyone was paying attention and the stars were shining. With his own elves, leaving footprints and handprints in the Hall of Champions, Zoomu hugged Chirona contentedly. This girl came all the way to see her finals just to wait for this moment. The overwhelming media and news have surrounded Chirona and Zoomu. Reporters desperately want to squeeze next to Zoomu and ask a few questions. However, Arceus, who has been able to skillfully use his power, moved instantly with a move. He accurately sent Zoomu to his residence. Back to the player village, Zoomu did not rush to leave, but took Chirona and Serena to have a good meal. After the meal, he returned to his room and began to summarize his gains after the end of this competition. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Greninja check-in mission. Carry or use Greninja to win once in the World King Tournament. Reward sharing in. The first one to start was Greninja. This little frog has been following Zoomu from the beginning until today. Perhaps many people say that if a spirit is not cultivated from childhood, it cannot be kept. It will devour the master, betray, the intimacy is not high enough, or the potential is wasted, etc. But Greninja, starting as a king, became Zoomu's right-hand man, and even has always been the ace of the team, the boss. He has never been unfaithful to Zoomu, even though Zoomu's father was Greninja's original master. In fact, from the day he came to Zoomu's house, Greninja has become Zoomu's spirit. As long as Zumyu accepts him, he will not let Zumyu down. This is the most basic awareness of a middle school ninja. From his voice of Little Master, from his words I am Greninja, Zumyu can always feel that this guy likes to grow up with him and fight together. Cool, my little master, my eye? After jumping out of the Pokeball, Greninja covered his left eye, a little confused. Zumyu smiled and explained, this is called the Sharingan. At present, your Sharingan is only 3 Magatama. When you encounter something big or your potential is tapped, you can continue to evolve and improve your Sharingan. Thinking of this question, Zumyu subconsciously thought of the Sharingan's way of enlightenment, and sacrificed relatives for the greater good. With a start, Zumyu quickly erased this idea from his mind. It's really too much, Zumyu. How can you have the idea of his own father's Pokémon? Pinching his chin, Zumyu was thinking about how to make his father's Greninja reasonably sacrifice in front of his own Greninja. Sacrifice relatives for the greater good, Mangekyo. It's really the ability of the Sharingan, roughly summarized as having powerful abilities such as observation, replication, and hypnosis. The holder has extraordinary insight, can observe the flow of chakra, can cast and see through illusions, copy physical skills and non-bloodline limit ninjutsu. In short, this frog was originally mean, and now it's good. With the Sharingan, I'm afraid it can completely liberate itself and be mean to the extreme. Ding. Congratulations to the host. Start the new sign-in task of Koga Ninja. Go to the secret realm of time to participate in a battle. Open the Mangekyo Sharingan. Koga Ninja's task is over, and the system prompts again. This time, it's Laopeng. Congratulations to the host for completing the Charizard sign-in task. Carry or use Charizard to win a victory in the World King Tournament. Fire Dragon God Bloodline Upgrade. Charizard's Bloodline Upgrade is still very simple, and it can be completed in the Pokeball. Seeing that Charizard did not come out of the Pokeball by itself, Zumyu guessed that this guy should be very comfortable now. It seems that the system is still very humane and did not let Charizard feel any pain when upgrading its bloodline. Otherwise, with that guy's steady character, he would have run out and yelled that he wanted to go to the hospital. Ding. Congratulations to the host. The new sign-in task of Charizard is activated. Go to the counterattack of Mewtwo in the dungeon world. Carry or use Charizard to participate in a battle. The inheritance of the God of Fire Zerong. Zumyu nodded. The location of this task is different from that of Ninja Frog. And it also mentioned Mewtwo. I'm afraid it will be another long journey, and going to the dungeon world should be very obvious. The system is turning on the small world mode and asking him to officially start collecting those lost and separated protagonists. Fortunately, it's acceptable. Next one. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the sign-in task of Arceus. Carry or use Arceus to win a victory in the World King Tournament. 3 random stone tablets. The task reward of Arceus is still so simple, that is, to give stone tablets. To be honest, Arceus is probably the most confusing one among Zumyu's elves. It is also the one that makes the system the least worried. This kind of thing is still a matter of opinion. Ding. Congratulations to the host for starting Arceus' new sign-in mission. Carry or use Arceus in the space-time of the copy to communicate with his father. 3 random stone tablets. Lugia's situation is special, and his rewards cannot be collected for the time being. However, the new sign-in mission has been triggered, which is also quite simple and difficult. In the same copy world, go to the world where Lugia was born and participate in a battle. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Dragonite sign-in mission. Carry or use Dragonite to participate in a World King Tournament. Full-level magical power. Turn words into gold. Turning words into gold. This is one of the magical powers in the prehistoric world. Zumyu couldn't help but sigh. This time the Reading Dragon is really going to counterattack. Chapter 298 Rewards Giveaway. Reading Dragon can fight in a different way in the future. No need to roll up your sleeves to work, but you can be cultured and hold a book and read it. Use a big gold nugget that turns words into gold to smash your opponent to death. As for whether the gold nugget can be sold for money, this still needs to be considered later. If it can, then Dragonite is definitely a spirit that can be raised. Ha ha ha, make a lot of money. Ding. Congratulations to the host for starting a new sign-in task for Dragonite. Go to the Guardian of the Water City in the Dungeon World. Carry or use Dragonite to participate in a battle full-level magical power. Speak fluently. Seeing Dragonite's new tasks and rewards, Zumu couldn't help but shake his head in amusement. You're really something, dog system. You can tailor a suitable system for my spirit. What's the matter? Dragonite is really a scholar. In the future, when fighting, should I give him a white robe and a small fan, fighting while fanning, and then say, I have never seen such a shameless person. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Snorlax sign-in mission. Carry or use Snorlax to win a victory in the World King Tournament. Full-level martial arts. Tai Shan Kao. The enhancement of Snorlax was also expected. Zumu said that this was still acceptable. His own Snorlax is likely to go further and further on the road of martial arts. It really lives up to the saying that if Snorlax knows martial arts, even gods can stop him. Ding. Congratulations to the host for starting a new sign-in mission for Snorlax. Carry or use Snorlax to participate in a battle among the brave warriors in the Copy World Wave. The power of Wave. Snorlax is really an all-rounder. Silently remembering this copy of Wave, Zumu is not quite sure how to go to these copy worlds. However, with his understanding of the system's dog coin, there are definitely 100 ways to make himself passively enter these worlds in a seemingly reasonable way. All he has to do is cooperate with the system's performance. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Bulbasaur sign-in mission. 2. Carry or use Bulbasaur to participate in a battle of the king level. Wood Style Bloodline Genkai. Zumu had been coveting this skill of Wood Style for a long time. Now that Bulbasaur finally got it, Zumu's first reaction was to want Bulbasaur to come out and show him the legendary Wood Style. However, thinking that it was still late at night, Zumu didn't feel comfortable disturbing Bulbasaur. Never mind, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future. There is a long way to go, the system's voice continued. Ding. Congratulations to the host for starting Bulbasaur's new sign-in mission. Carry or use Bulbasaur to participate in a battle in the Wishing Star of the Seven Knights Dungeon World. Tailed Beast level Vitality. Zumu was a little skeptical about this reward and didn't understand the system's meaning. However, the system didn't explain it either, so he was just skeptical. There will be a time when you are really good. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Leaf King sign-in mission. 3. Carry or use the Leaf King to participate in a battle in the World King Tournament. Long-armed ape bloodline. Watching his senior brother gradually becoming a muscular man, Zumu couldn't help but sigh. I'm afraid that more elves will be deceived by his silly appearance in the future. Who would know that under the appearance of such a muscular man, there is a delicate heart and a mouth full of bewitching power. Ding. Congratulations to the host. The King of Leaf has started a new sign-in task. Carry or use the King of Leaf to participate in a battle in the Copy World Victini charm increased tenfold. Zumu was silent. It seems that the system has given the King of Leaf everything it can give. Whether it is the fire eyes and golden pupils, or the 8-9 mysterious skills, or the last tongue by 8 bloodline, without exception, they are all top rewards. Much stronger than Blue Silver Grass, Clear Sky Hammer, etc. So, now the system doesn't know how to strengthen the King of Leaf. Just give him a charm, so that it will be more convenient for him to fool people, right? Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Malters sign-in task. Carry or use Malters to participate in a battle in the World King Tournament Flame Purification once. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Galar Malters sign-in mission. Carry or use Galar Malters to participate in a battle in the World Championship. The evil ability is improved once. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Articuno sign-in mission. Carry or use Articuno to participate in a battle in the World Championship. Ice Purification once. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Galar Articuno sign-in mission. Carry or use Galar Articuno to participate in a battle in the World Championship. Superpower is improved once. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Lightning Bird sign-in mission. Carry or use Lightning Bird to participate in a battle in the World Championship. Lightning Purification once. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the Galar Lightning Bird sign-in mission. Carry or use Galar Lightning Bird to participate in a battle in the World Championship. Muscle ability is improved once. Next, it is the task completion prompt for 6 consecutive divine birds. The task rewards are relatively ordinary, but the divine birds are strengthened in a targeted manner. It can be regarded as a preliminary fit. I just don't know what the next task will be like, and whether the reward will be improved. Zumu thought expectantly, and the system's tasks began to be released. Ding! Congratulations to the host for opening the new sign-in task of Malters. Carry or use Malters to participate in a battle at the border. Bafang Bloodline. Ding! Congratulations to the host for opening the new sign-in task of Galar Malters. Carry or use Galar Malters to participate in a battle at the border. Satan Inheritance. Ding! Congratulations to the host for opening the new sign-in task of Lightning Bird. Carry or use Lightning Bird to participate in a battle at the border. Thunder God Bloodline. Ding! Congratulations to the host for opening the new sign-in task of Galar Lightning Bird. Carry or use Galar Lightning Bird to participate in a battle at the border. Xingqian Bloodline. Ding! Congratulations to the host for opening the new sign-in task of Articuno. Carry or use Articuno to participate in a battle at the border. Ice Phoenix Bloodline. Ding! Congratulations to the host for opening the new sign-in task of Galar Articuno. Carry or use Galar Articuno to participate in a battle at the border. Field. Eternal Thoughts. Wow! When Zumu saw this new task, he took a deep breath. This system is quite powerful this time. It can be seen that they have invested a lot of money. No, just tell me, how dangerous will I be facing later? You are willing to spend a lot of money. Tell me the truth. If it is really dangerous, I won't go. Speaking to the dog system, Zumu felt a little cold in his heart. The pressure is great. I am afraid that I have to go to the border this time. However, before going to the border, there is still one thing to do. Chapter 299, Kyle's father-in-law. Let's fight. The next morning, Zumu took Serena and Sirona to ride on Lugia. Go straight to where Kyle is. As a man, the promise he made at the beginning must be fulfilled. Zumu said that after winning the championship of this competition and becoming the Venerable, the first thing he had to do was to find Kyle and get engaged to Sirona. Now, it's time to put it into practice. As for why Lugia is still a mount, this Zumu thinks that riding the 3 sacred birds is not as cool as Lugia. Chief, it's bad. Zumu is on the way on Lugia, as Kyle's secretary. Sometimes he naturally needs to know many things that others don't know. For example, Kyle bullied Zumu with his big body, and was later beaten up by Zufang and his wife. The secretary said that he didn't see these things and didn't know anything about them, but for some reason, he was particularly concerned about Zumu's dynamics, maybe because of his duties. So, in a particularly ignorant and extremely rational state, the secretary called Kyle. The first sentence at the beginning was the above sentence. Kyle held the phone in a daze, and the corners of his mouth were bitter for a while. Should I run away now? As a dignified chairman, if I run away, wouldn't it be too embarrassing? I know. Don't worry, you just need to do a good job of blocking. Don't let our problems leak out. The secretary nodded, indicating that he understood, but not completely. Anyway, he should do what the chief said. After hanging up the phone, Kyle breathed a sigh of relief. After tidying up his shirt, Kyle definitely put on a helmet. Zumu, this kid, holds grudges very much, and he is the same as his father. He may have a hobby of slapping people in the face. It's better to wear something safe. After all, as the chief of a country, face is still something. Not long after, Zumu arrived. Landing from the roof, Zumu shouted, "Father-in-law, Uncle Kyle, I'm here to see you." While shouting, Zumu also held Sirona's little hand and his attitude was extremely arrogant. However, no matter how arrogant he was, Kyle could only watch and dared not speak. Damn it, the situation is different now. This kid has only been around for a few months, and even an invincible trainer like me has to go around. What kind of abnormal talent is this? If I had known this would happen, why did I offend him in the first place? It's just a daughter, so I should marry him. The more Kyle thought about it, the more bitter he felt, but he had to force himself to greet him. "Oh, it's my nephew. I'm sorry for not welcoming you from afar. I'm sorry for not welcoming you from afar." As he said this, Kyle also pretended to signal Zumu, Sirona, and the little girl Serena to sit down quickly. Zumu did not respond, but looked at Kyle with a smile on his face. Unlike Kyle's forced smile, Zumu's smile, it was sincere and genuine happiness. There is a saying that when a gentleman is in high spirits, he will seek revenge. Today, Zumu has achieved success and fame. Not only did he fulfill Kyle's original condition, but he also held his daughter's hand. "Tell me, how can you not be happy?" "Forget about sitting down, Uncle Kyle. You know the purpose of my coming today, mainly to talk to you about Sirona. By the way, I will fulfill my original promise and challenge you after becoming a venerable. Prove to you that I have the ability to protect Sirona." Zumu's voice was very calm, and there was no intention to kill. But for some reason, Kyle was on pins and needles, with cold sweat all over his body. He thought to himself, this kid is worse than his father. Zufeng is at least a straightforward man who does things at the slightest disagreement. The mood is written on his face and is easy to guess. But Zumu, no matter what, always has a smiling face, and the city is really deep. I don't know where this 16-year-old kid has so many thoughts. Poor my daughter, a beautiful girl, was seduced by this bastard, alas. With a long sigh, Kyle also accepted his fate. "Come on, don't slap me in the face. Anything is fine." "Ha, okay, since my nephew has said so, I am not someone who keeps his word. Well, let me arrange a one-on-one match at the battlefield downstairs. If you win, I will agree to your marriage with Sirona." Zumu nodded. "Well, there is no need to say the rest. I will not lose." So confident. Zumu choked back Kyle's unfinished words. "By the way, has Uncle Kyle arranged a school for Serena?" When mentioning Serena's situation, Zumu asked again. "This cannot be sloppy. Serena is only 10 years old. Although it is not necessary to follow the rules here and have an initial elf at the age of 16, but it is not okay not to go to school at the age of school. Even games are now anti-addiction, making way for students learning. It can be seen that learning is important now." Again, Zumu can drop out of school at the beginning because he has learned it. His 3 views and basic knowledge have been formed in another world. If he were to go to school again now, and start all over again, to develop habits and guide his worldview correctly, it would be inappropriate. But Serena is different. The little girl is still young and must receive the right education. "When you are ready, just tell me later." When it comes to doing serious work, Kyle is still very reliable. After all, he is the chief. Ahem, this chief speaks as humble as a lackey. "Okay, then I'll trouble Uncle Kyle." "Serena, thank your uncle quickly," Zumu said, gently patting Serena who was standing behind him. "Thank you, uncle." Serena also obeyed and hurriedly thanked him. Zumu continued, "By the way, Uncle Kyle, please leave me a few more places at school later. I have a group of students here, and they may be sent here one after another." Zumu's words made Kyle's eyes bulge. "What? There are children?" Looking at Zumu suspiciously, Kyle began to calculate in his heart. This boy is 16 years old this year, and this little girl is 10 years old. They shouldn't be illegitimate. Then, there is only one truth. These kids are most likely Zumu's brothers and sisters. I didn't realize that Brother Zufeng is quite capable. It's just that he's a little bit unkind, and in the end he has to ask his son to take the blame for him. Thinking about it, Kyle has gone astray. He even feels that he has caught Zufeng's handle, and he has already thought about how to blackmail Zufeng. Is he worthy of his sister-in-law's value by doing this? Alas, this is really the nature of a man. "Well, as your good brother, I will pay for the sins you committed in the past." Looking at Kyle shaking his head and sighing, Zumu intuitively guessed that this guy must have had the wrong idea. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.